personal that I ask you, you don't have to answer it.
Nothing's personal anymore to me.
Not when you're on YouTube. Nothing's personal.
Right?
Hello, Susan. Susan, it's just the three of us. So if you want to talk about anything, then just go ahead and just shoot because no one else is here. It's just us.
Just us right now.
It's just us. Me and my new friend, my Boston girl. I'm representing the Patriots, and she's representing the Boston Red Sox. I figured that could really get. Oh, Catherine Ashley says, "Nope, I'm here." Oh, okay. That's great.
Incognito.
John Jones is in the house. Whoop woo! Hello, John Jones. That's okay. More will be here soon, Susan says. Secret agent, hello. Hey, secret agent, I've gotten like 3 phone calls from the UK today. You're not trying to call me, are you? I haven't answered any of them, so I don't know if it's you. Um, it's Stephanie. Catherine Ashley. It's Stephanie. Stephanie. Hi, Jonathan. Thank you for being here. Oh, and look who else is here. Dawn. Thank you. Betty Webb. Hello. So this is really, really last minute. China. Catherine Ashley, China. I don't know. Donna, I don't have your number. Oh, but my number's on the internet, so it's easy to find. World Thrift. China. World Thrift. Don't know what that means. Robin's in the house. Well,
Hi, Robin.
um, let's see who else. Ooh, where's my earbuds? Put them on. Don't get in trouble. She's at work. Danny May. Hello, Danny May. Hey, Danny May. How come you don't have a wrench? Donna is playing twinsies with Laurie. I am. I'm totally copying her. She came on the screen with her Boston Red Sox hat on, and I said, let's Bears. I'm your antique china friend. I'm your antique china friend. Oh, must have been somebody I met and gave her my YouTube name, maybe. I'm sorry. I have such a bad memory. I have such a bad Hot D's, what's up with the hats? I didn't get no darn hat. I'm not going to say the word you said. Okay, so Laurie came on with her Boston Red Sox hat, so I decided I needed to really get everybody off. And uh, oh, Dawn is voting Storage Hunters Vegas hat. Well, that
I
was
got
purpose.
sparkles.
Yeah, it is. It's beautiful.
It's a little bit extra.
It's Stephanie. Oh, hello, Stephanie. I got it now. Hello. Hi, honey. Thank you for being here. Okay, Joy Munkin. Hello, and Polgara. Polgara. I don't know who that is, but thank you for being here. Um, Hi, Polgara. Do you know who Polgara is? Somebody new to my channel. Hi, sweetheart. Hello. Thank you for being here. Okay. Did I say hi to Joy Munkin? I think I say all blinged out, Susan says. Yeah, so I decided to piss some people off and wear we get the hats. So, anyways, so I was talking to Laurie on because she did a little live, and Laurie and I kind of took over the chat, and we were talking about we were both Boston girls, and I thought it would be really nice to get to know each other because I love making new friends. You know my motto: make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver, and the other's gold. So I figured, you know what better place to get to know each other than maybe online? So
Hi, Mrs. Luckernut.
and we can just share it. Oh, Mrs. Lockernut is in the house. Hello, welcome. Thanks for being here. 26 people in the chat. That's so nice. You guys, very last minute. What did I just do the stream 15 minutes ago, Laurie? Like literally, like honestly, like
Literally, just we threw it together and said, "Let's do this."
Chit chatting. I'm like, let's go online and chit chat, and Boatman. Hi, you two. On my way to work. Okay, well, be careful if you're driving. Be very, very careful. And yeah, I was in the middle of my shipping, and I did win a storage unit this morning. And Laurie, I have to take this off because I said to Laurie, I said, I can't stand wearing hats. I can wear them outside, right? It's like you're in Vegas, so you have to like protect yourself from the hot
Yeah.
sun and protect your skin. That's why you're probably used to wearing baseball hats all the time.
Well, I started wearing hats a lot when we were on after the being on the TV show. It just you know what, we got recognized everywhere we went. So I was cheer mom to my daughter, and I said, you know what, I'm constantly late because I'd stop at the store for water just to grab a quick pack of water, and 25 minutes later people are still talking to me and trying to get pictures. So I literally started going incognito and wearing hats everywhere I went. So you know, even now, you know, if we go downtown or anywhere, people are like, oh, you're from Storage Hunters, you know.
So tell me about that. So that you were on Storage Wars. See, I used to write Storage Wars. Is that
storage,
right?
Storage Hunters.
Storage Hunters.
Mm-hmm.
And that was different. So which one was Don Dobson on? Dan Dobson.
Dan Dotson was on Storage Wars.
He was on Storage Wars.
Yeah.
Storage Hunters came on afterwards or before?
It was what, like a week later? Something like that. We were
because we did the first.
Yeah, we were filming all at the same time. It was just a matter of like when they released. So like we were in talks with Dan and them to do Storage Wars, but then True TV came to us and they said, you know, we'd like to offer you guys the star role rather than be a full ensemble cast. So we went to Storage Hunters instead.
So it was your own program? Storage Hunters was your own like series, your own?
Well, pretty much. We were the stars of it, so we were like the heroes of the show, you know. And so there was the auctioneer, there was other bidders and whatnot, but they would rotate the cast of other bidders, you know, whenever. So like when we went to Boston, it was literally just me and Brandon. When we did New Orleans, it was just me and Brandon, you know. So if it was local, we'd have most of the same bidders, but any place that we were gonna have to travel to, they would just follow us.
And how many seasons did it run? Because, you know, I'm gonna have to look back. We used to watch it as a family, like it's probably like 8 years ago, right?
That, yeah. We did 5 seasons.
You did 5 seasons.
Yeah.
I'm sure I watched you, but I remember the one mostly with Dan that I would watch. I remember watching that one, but I must have watched yours too.
Yeah, there was Storage Wars, Storage Hunters, and then Auction Hunters. So there was all 3 programs on at the same time.
Oh, you're kidding. So someone had an idea and they just exploded with it. And
yep. See, we were True TV. Storage Wars was A&E, and then Auction Hunters was Spike TV.
Oh, okay. So True TV, is that like a channel?
Yeah.
Like A&E?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is it a channel that you have to buy? Or
no, True TV has like Impractical Jokers. It had I'm trying to think, what's that other program with that was really popular? World's Like Dumbest, you know. So it had like Frank Stallone and, you know, all those guys like just doing videos and stuff. And yeah, there was a bunch of different shows. Operation Repo, the towing.
Oh yeah, I used to watch that. So
that was the same channel.
Okay, so I definitely watched True TV. It just didn't. That was kind of like a really messy time in my life. That was when my son was really sick and undergoing chemo and in and out of the hospital and stuff. So that whole part, I mean, I know it was about 8 years ago because we would watch it in the hospital. But that whole part of my life is really fuzzy and messy. Right. And, you know, try to forget some parts of it. So I'm gonna have to go back and see if I can remember watching you guys, because it's kind of like a little bit blurry to me. I don't really remember it 100%. So it ran for 5 seasons. Was that 5 years? Is that a season a year?
About 4 years.
4 years?
The way the seasons cut off throughout the year, yeah.
And then what happened, Laurie? The producers, they come to you and they say, we're not going to go with another season?
You know what? It was actually the network. The network was looking to rebrand their channel. So True TV wanted to go in a different direction. They wanted to be all comedy. And then, because of that, they said, we don't want to continue filming, reality series. So they stopped Operation Repo. They stopped us. They stopped Lizard Lick Towing, Hardcore Pawn. So all of those stopped all at the same time, and they kind of just went with Impractical Jokers and like this funny comedian magician guy. And then their channel kind of tanked and went downhill. So
it did. It tanked. It's gone. So this is a really personal question, and you don't need to answer it if you don't want to, but do you get residual income? But now it's gone, right? So there people can't watch it. But if the station had not tanked and they did reruns, would you have gotten residual income from that? Yeah. No. Just boom. This is what you're getting paid, and you're not getting any more. It doesn't matter how many people watch it.
Yeah. And it was originally supposed to be only in the United States. And that's what our contract was for. But then they went and sold the rights to all of these so we're in 143 countries right now. So they sold the rights to all those countries. And now
those countries are watching you?
Yeah.
And you're not getting any residual income from that?
Nothing.
And is that something that was, I'm sure it was discussed ahead of time? And was there
nothing was discussed ahead of time. To be honest with you, when we first started filming, they really didn't think the show was going to go past the first season. They didn't even think it would go past the pilot. And then, they basically said, it's up to you guys. If you can make the show go, we've done number studies on you guys and ran you out to a bunch of people in the US to watch you. And you guys are super likable and everybody loves you. So if you can make it go, then we'll go with it. And we did. So literally it just wasn't even supposed to get past the first season. So, and it's pretty crazy that, like Storage Wars is really popular over here, but we're just massive in the UK and Australia.
Oh, and you don't have any of that income coming in from them watching it?
Nothing.
Is your YouTube channel at least attached to it somehow, or?
No.
Oh, Laurie, that must hurt.
Yeah, it's frustrating because it's like, we worked so hard to, make that show go. And, it's just when it comes to big business and networks and whatever, they'll just find a way to top everything and make the most they can and don't really care about the little people, really.
Mm-hmm. That's too bad. That's too bad.
Yeah.
Now, is Storage Wars still going on? I don't even know. I don't watch TV anymore. I only watch YouTube.
After the last season that aired, it was about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, that the last new episode of Storage Wars aired. They haven't made any since. Unfortunately, with big networks, they say, it's hurry up and wait. And, they'll keep you on that back burner and make you think that they're going to renew, and then they don't. And so you're just waiting. And like for us, we had, in our contract, it says that during the off season, we really weren't allowed to do anything else because we needed to be available as soon as they call, and we'd have to jump on, filming. So unfortunately, we had a, huge business going, our huge eBay, everything was going. And then, the first or second season, I think, is when we were still continuing to do the eBay, and our eBay just tanked because instantly they were like, nope, we got to film now. And I'm like, I've got shipping to do. What are you talking about? And they're like, no, you need to be here tomorrow at 6 a.m. And that was it. And we'd have to fly out to Boston or New Orleans or where else did we go? I don't even remember. We went to Hawaii. We, all of these different places.
And
So
they paid for all that, right? Like they'd send you the airline tickets and pay for all that. Was that
Yeah.
like
yeah. So they would pay for our stay there, our per diem and stuff. We would get a certain amount so that, as far as like eating while we were there and whatnot, just a small amount just to make sure that, your meals are covered. But other than that, like if we wanted to go sightseeing on our couple hours off, that was on us. So, but everything else was taken care of.
Would you do it again, Laurie? You wouldn't? You wouldn't do it again? So much work, not enough pay.
Yeah, exactly. It's you know what?
Invasion of privacy, big time.
Huge. Yeah, there wasn't a place that we could go that we weren't recognized. Even when like I said, when I was my daughter's cheer mom, we couldn't go down the street. It was just, you're just always a character. You know what I mean? You're always on your role, and you can't ever just be your normal self. And, unfortunately, there was towards the end of filming, like they told us at the beginning, we had a really, really, really great producer at the beginning. And he said, by the end of this show, you guys are all going to hate each other. And I'm like, no way. I'm like, we're super close and it's good and it's fine. But then, you know what? Money is the root of all evil. And unfortunately, people got jealous that, they weren't winning the big wins. And, why are they always highlighted and whatever. And, it got a lot of greed came into play. And unfortunately, that kind of took over, and we literally ended up fighting with everybody. And, it was just awful.
Really?
Yeah.
That's too bad.
Yeah, it was, it was bittersweet. Like we did have some good times. We had great experiences during the show, things we found. But in the end, we would never do it again.
So you were buying storage units, and you had a YouTube channel, and they found you? No. You were buying storage units, and how did the production company find you?
Actually, we were at Dan's auction, and this was before any of the shows came out at all. And we were at Dan's auction because we mainly followed him. And there were a couple of new people that we didn't recognize at the auction. And I said, they're not buyers. Something's funny here. They're not buyers. And you could just tell, Yeah. And, they came up to us after and they said, hey, we're producers, and, do you want to come down and do, a little sizzle reel for our show? And we were like, we had just moved from Boston to California, probably like 2 months before that. And, being from Boston, you're like, yeah, right. You want us to do a TV show? Come on, And so Brandon's like, yeah, let's just go. It'll be fun. It'll be an experience. It's all good, So we're like, sure. So we went down there and we did our little sizzle reel. And, within probably about a month or so, I would say, we got a call and said, hey, you guys want to be the stars? They loved you. And that was it.
I gotta, I have to tell you why I have to excuse myself. My husband's home today, and I asked him to go pay for a storage unit that I won this morning, but I'm looking at the time and the manager leaves in 15 minutes. So I'm going to tell him not to go because he's not going to make it. So hold on one second.
Okay.
One second.
I'll watch over the chat in the meantime. Let's see.
This is crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Pat D's, the production company, Cabanero Effect. You're right, Danny May. That's right. That's the one I was thinking of.
Okay, he's fine. I'll go tomorrow. It's no big deal. It was very last minute anyways, this storage unit. I promised I wasn't going to buy one this week, but it happened. We were a bit out there with the proxy, and boom, I won. Okay, so they told you they wanted to do a little sizzle wheel. I love the way you call it, a sizzle wheel.
Right.
And so you did it, and it just took off from there.
Yeah. So then we went and filmed the the first episode, and all the bigwigs from New York came out and whatnot. And then, funny story with that. So we're on the set, and our production company had done several different shows before, but they weren't huge. So the executive producers and whatnot were from New York, but then they hired a smaller company here in California, to run the daily. So the big guy from New York is out, and he says, he's talking to Brandon. He's like, "You look like a young Robert De Niro." And Brandon's like, "Yeah, I kind of get told that quite often." He's like, "Well, I'm friends with, Robert De Niro's camp. So, I'm going to reach out to him. He's looking for like someone that plays him as his younger self." So, about 2 weeks later, we got a call, and he had passed over, Brandon's information to Robert De Niro. And they said, "We'd love for you to come in, and he'd like to talk to you and, kind of hear how you sound and see what you look like in person." And I'm like, "Oh, that would be really cool." I said, "But then, we couldn't do the show because we didn't have contracts yet. So we couldn't do the show if you do this, because you can't do both." So then the next morning they call and they say, "He says you don't have to come in. He'll just pick you. He likes you. He likes how you, he's seen, the film that the production company sent to him, and you're just what he needs." And Brandon's like, "No, I'd rather be known for myself than just as never recognizable because of, playing Robert De Niro." So he passed it up, which he'd probably still be working for him right now because he holds on to his guys for a really long time.
He passed it up to do the storage unit series. Can I just say something to everyone in the chat? I see that some people have some questions, and they have some good questions. If you guys can just hold your questions into like closer to the end, and we'll address some of your questions, so that I don't want you to think that we're not. I'm kind of reading the chat and paying attention to what Laurie is talking about. But yeah, I want to address some of the questions that are in the chat from some of the viewers afterwards. So that probably would have been a gig that would have been ongoing for Brandon. Now, is Brandon from Boston too?
Yeah, well, Brandon was born in California, and he moved to Boston with his dad when he was probably about 10 or so.
Oh, okay. So he was raised in Boston.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
In the same area that you were raised in?
Yeah, so he was raised in Wellesley, and I was raised in Wayland and Natick.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I worked in, I think Brandon's there because I heard him talking. I worked in Chestnut Hill for a really long time.
Oh, yeah. I love Chestnut Hill.
Yeah, I worked at the Chestnut Hill Mall for a company called Winston Flowers.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, for a really, really long time. And then I moved to the Back Bay, and I managed their Boylston Street store. So I was a florist for a really, really long time. But ask Brandon if he remembers this jingle. Silver Lake Dodge and Leasing on Route 9 in Wellesley.
I remember that.
Because I work there.
Brandon worked there.
He did? For Abramson. What was his first name? My brother married his new wife's daughter. His wife died. When did Brandon work there?
Back in the 80s.
Oh boy, in the 80s. He was a car boy, so he watched the cars.
What was the name of the man that owned it? Abramson?
Abramson, yeah.
Abramson. And his first name is, we used to spend Christmas. They were Jewish. They were full-blown Jewish people, and they would have a huge Christmas.
They were nice.
3 Christmas trees, big, huge house in, I think, Newton.
Yeah.
They lived. And what's that? What do you say?
He said it was almost at the Natick line.
Yeah, I think so. I can't remember. But we would go there every Christmas for a huge Christmas party. And he would give out Christmas presents. And you know what the Christmas presents were?
What?
They were, and his wife would wrap them all up like really pretty with bows and stuff, and it was all like promotional material from the dealership.
That is hilarious.
We were young, and we were so excited. Like they
Right?
like stack of gifts and presents, and we'd go to open them up, and they were like keychains that said Silver Lake Dodge and Leasing on them.
Oh my goodness, that's hilarious.
But you remember that jingle because it was on
Oh,
every radio station we listened to, every single ones. And you know who else I was really good friends with when I lived in Boston and I decorated his whole entire house is Charles Laquadera.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Charles
I have a crazy funny story. So years ago, Brandon was like in his late teens, early 20s. He was a landscaper.
Yeah.
So he's working in Wellesley at this time, and he comes up to this huge house, and it's in like the most extravagant part of Wellesley. I mean, amazing.
Yeah. Wellesley's beautiful.
Oh, it's gorgeous. So there's this long driveway. He goes all the way up, and he's getting his machinery out, him and his buddy. And they're starting to, mow the lawns and stuff. And all of a sudden, this guy comes out, and he's kind of, lanky and whatever a little bit, And all of a sudden, he realizes, he's like, oh my goodness, that's Steven Tyler.
Oh, yeah.
So he was at his daughter's house, Liv Tyler's house. It was her house, and she had just started filming Armageddon. So he was there kind of chilling at her house, just watching over it.
Yeah.
He offers Brandon a St. Pauli's girl, and he's like, well, I'm kind of working, so I probably shouldn't. He's like, nah, man. He's like, come on, you're cool. He's like, you can have one. And he's like, if you want to jump in the pool, go ahead. And he's like, he was literally the nicest man ever. He was just super sweet and super kind, and just kind of crazy that, he's out mowing the lawn and meets, Steven Tyler. I think Donna's frozen. Let's see. You still there? Let's see.
The video story.
Can everybody hear me still?
I paid the bill. Okay.
No, it's Donna. She's frozen. Uh-oh. Now it's just me. I'm sure she'll just come right back on. So let's just give her a second. Oh, Susan, that's hilarious. I think everybody's dreaming of Steven Tyler. He's amazing. I think he's one of my favorite artists ever. Ever. Let's see. Where'd you go, Donna? Thank you so much, Susan. That's really awesome to say, because I hardly ever do my makeup. And, today we don't have, I don't think we have an auction. Oh, but hold on. Here she is. Hold on. Hello? Yeah, I'm still on live with them. Okay. Oh, no. Okay. Okay, I will. Okay, that's all right. Bye. Okay, so Donna will be right back. So she said that her husband was trying to clean up the internet cords and disconnected her whole router. So it's just taking a second for her to come back up. Thank you so much, Sandy. That's super awesome. We were, what were we on in Canada? OLN. I think it was. We did a bunch of commercials and stuff for OLN when we were doing the show. Yeah, so normally, oh, we can hear her? I don't hear her yet. Robin, are you hearing things? I don't know. Normally, I don't have a makeup artist. No, I've always done my own. I went to school for cosmetology, so that was like years and years and years ago. So I've done my own makeup. I never do my makeup when we're going to buy bins because it's out here. It's so hot and you get nasty and gross and whatever. So it's kind of pointless. Oh, it was on A&E there. Okay. I thought we did OLM. There she is.
Did you tell them what my husband did?
Yes.
True life story.
Right?
This is my life. This is my life. Honest to goodness. Yeah, he's home today. He's like, oh, you know what? I'm sick and tired of all these cords being a jumbled mess. You know those cords, that connect the router, the
Oh, yeah.
Stuff. And so he decided, forgetting that I was online,
Oh, no.
the internet. I'm like, oh, it's frozen. Something's wrong with it. And I look down and I'm like, why don't I have internet? And then I hear him, sorry.
Sounds like something my husband would do.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. But thank you. Is hubby still alive? Robin wants to know, please. Stuff like that doesn't bother me when you deal with the broad stream of life. Anyways, so I left you off that so Steven Tyler came out and brought him a beer.
Yep. Yeah. And then he said, oh, if you want to take a dip in the pool or anything like that, he's like, you go ahead. And he was the coolest, super chill and one of the nicest mans he's ever met. He's just super awesome, so being such a huge famous rock star, and then just to be super cool to your landscaper, he was really awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. And then back to the same brother
to be super cool to your landscaper
that married. I'm popping out my chat while I'm talking because I like my YouTube chat better than I like my StreamYard chat. I think it's like quicker.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I was just pulling out my chat. So my brother's girlfriend's father, okay, it was the mother that married Abramson.
Yeah.
So her father, her biological father, he was the one that discovered the group Boston. They were playing on Lansdowne Street downstairs, like in some trashy, like nothing
dive of a place.
Yeah,
wow.
And he discovered them, and he's like, hey, I'm gonna do this and do that. And he was their manager, producer, whatever you want to call it, only for like 6 months, until someone else came along and like scooped him up from him.
Right.
He didn't have all his ducks in order as far as contracts and all of that. He was a small time guy himself, not knowing that this is going to be Boston.
Huge. Yeah.
Boston. Are you kidding?
Right? That's insane.
He lost a huge opportunity with that. Huge.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. It's funny working in Wellesley. I don't know if you ever heard the story, but in Wellesley, there's a recycling center, technically a dump. Yeah. And that's kind of where like Brandon got his start, right? So when we first met, when you first meet somebody, you're like, oh, so what do you do for work or something like that, and he's just like, well, I buy storage bins and I go to the recycling center. I said, what, you work there or what? And he's like, no, I just go there. And I'm like, I'm confused, I'm like, how am I supposed to tell my mom, like, hey, you buy storage bins, you have no 401k, you have nothing, So he says, well, let's go. I'll take you. So he brings me to the recycling center. And in Wellesley, how they have it set up, it's called a leave and take. So huge, gigantic area where you literally come up, drop off something gently used or still functioning, and you could kind of just walk through and shop there if you want. So it's just for residents.
Oh,
So they have a whole book area where they literally have bookshelves on bookshelves where you could just go look at the books and pick them out if you want them, or, you know, the kids go up there and they look at books. So, you know, that's kind of where we started when we first got together. That's all we were pretty much doing. We'd buy a locker here and there, probably, you know, once or twice a week. But for the most part, we were going to the recycling center. So he would get like vintage Bose speakers and like vintage Harley Davidsons, and I mean, you name it, people just drop stuff off there. So then, you know, we have this huge eBay going and whatnot. And you know, it was a shame when we moved because that place was amazing. There was a little old gentleman that used to come up every day, and he was the cutest little old man I've ever met in my life. So I became really attached to him, and I loved him to pieces. And we would just sit there and talk. And his name was Eddie, and he was cute as can be. And then, you know, he noticed that, you know, all the time, you know, I'd have Red Sox gear, earrings, necklaces, shirts, whatever. And he was like, you know my name, right? And I said, Eddie. And he's like, yeah, I'm Eddie Yost. And I was like, the baseball player Eddie Yost? And he said, yeah. And I'm like, so he played for the Red Sox, and then he went on to manage the Red Sox. He was actually, they called him the walking man because he had the most walks in baseball, like literally had the best eye that he would never hit that ball. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, I've been wandering around the dump with Eddie Yost, the baseball player, for all of these years. I'm like,
what would he do there?
He was picking stuff to keep it.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Is that dump still there?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
They still, and it's still a pick and leave, or whatever you refer to it as, pick and choose.
Yeah. I think as far as I know, it's still the same. But it got to the point where so many residents were coming down that they actually had to have volunteers from the town, like people from the town that wanted to keep the leave and take as, you know, kind of supervisors, so that they can, you know, help people watch over stuff. And
it must have been indoors. It must have been an indoor facility.
It had like a one of those tents over it, you know.
Yeah,
but that's about it. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's interesting. So you would go there and choose things and sell them on eBay.
Yep.
And I mean, what better place to be choosing stuff for free in Wellesley? Because you guys are in the chat. Wellesley, Newton, all that whole area is like super, super rich money. And those Western, so you basically have like, well, now it's changed so much, but what the Western part of Boston is very wealthy. And then also just the northern part of Boston is very, very wealthy also.
Right.
And then you have, but you know, years ago you could buy a house in like Roxbury or like Everett or Slumberville for nothing. Now they go for millions of dollars. Those
crazy,
those triple deckers that they couldn't give them away years ago.
Oh yeah,
nobody wanted to live in Slumberville.
Right
now it's like full of yuppies somewhere.
Absolutely, it's crazy.
Big bucks, all the yuppies moved in. So you guys, if you have any questions in the chat, I appreciate you guys being here in this like last minute little interview. Kind of let's get to know each other with Laurie. If you have any questions, there was one question that I saw somebody posted up here, and I'm very interested in this question, and I don't know if you can answer it, but since you have no ties to that channel anymore, maybe you can answer it. Were any of the storage units ever planted with stuff?
Well, so unfortunately with reality TV, and this goes for every show on reality TV, whether it's Storage Wars or Operation Repo, everything has to be a little bit fudged, you know? You wouldn't have...
Embellished is a nice word, right?
Yeah. So all of us as cast members, we never knew what was going to be in there. We didn't know literally until that door opened. And then we just had to be ourselves and bid what we would normally bid on what we saw. But there were a lot of things on the show that did go back to a prop house. Yeah.
And did you get to keep the stuff that you would find in the storage unit that you would bid on? No. So that was play money that they gave you to bid up on that unit. So when a unit would go for $2,000, $3,000, the storage people, the producers, they'd give you that money and then they would keep all the merchandise?
Yes.
Really? Did they let you cherry pick anything? Nothing. And what is
the very first episode we did? So the very first episode we kept what was up for auction, and they did it real. Then when Storage Wars went a little like, hey, this person's finding, a 1920, untouched, vehicle in their cars, something, our show had to follow suit. So unfortunately, yeah, all of those are the same.
I just want to thank you so much for your honesty. Really.
Yeah.
I really, really, I have so much respect for you right now. I really, really thank you. And I'm sure that everybody in the chat feels the same way as I do. I have goosebumps I have goosebumps over your honesty right now.
Well, and it's funny because
you don't have to tell us that,
And if you look online, that so many people search us out, our net worth and stuff, and they're like, oh, their net worth is over $1 million. And I'm like, we kept nothing from that show. And, sometimes the internet, it adds up the profits you say you made and whatever. And unfortunately, it's not real life,
And I have to say, Mother's Mustache, her name is Ansley. She says, I like this woman. She's being honest. Unfortunately, that's rare this day and time. What's her channel? And you know what? I have to tell you, Ansley, so go ahead and make a little comment in the chat, Laurie, so that people that are here, I mean, I've only got 34 people in the chat right now. When I do my auctions, I'm up to 100 people, which is really exciting.
Yeah. Well, we were kind of short notice for everybody, so.
We were short notice. I mean, we could probably do
Boston. We just do it when we want to do it.
I know, exactly. That's kind of how I am, it was like buying that storage unit this morning, having my coffee, and I'm like, I think I'll just buy a storage. No planning, no nothing, just
right
on it. Boom, I won.
Exactly.
What I got goosebumps too, Ansley said. Oh, she's so sweet, Ansley. Yeah, no kidding. So, what really drew me to you the other night, I came into your chat and Laurie was like, oh, you guys, Donatella Bottolino's here and she does auctions on her channel too. So I've been doing auctions for months, and I know it's a really great idea, especially for storage unit buyers, to get rid of their inventory instead of having to go to the flea market or do yard sales or whatever. But no one really I make an effort to go into people's chats when I see that they're doing an auction, not because I want to try to get ideas. I have my own idea of how to do stuff, just because I want to support. And Laurie was very supportive to me. I've gone into other people's chat. No one's ever said, oh, there's Donatella Bottolino. Thanks for joining. She does auctions on her channel too. And I said to Laurie, there's enough to go around, because Laurie's going to present things that I may not have, and I may have things that she doesn't have.
Right.
And I cater to resellers. You guys, I think, are doing more kind of one-offs, unique one-off type items, where I'm doing kind of bulk. So,
right.
And I'm not just selling stuff from mini storages. I'm hustling up now. I'm buying pallets, and I have all kinds of. It's a lot. What I've embarked on is a lot, because my bundles are, I'm sending out massive bundles. But did you see my comment on your auction the other night when you started off that tea set at $5?
Well, because, to be honest with you, We have
No.
we have a really good rate.
I'm like, it's going to cost you $20 to ship it if you only get one bid on it. I was so glad we bid on it.
We have a really great rate with UPS, and
$5. There's no way.
well, I knew it wouldn't stay at 5. I knew, so I was like, and it's great because actually the gentleman who bought it, he's a friend of ours.
Bought it?
Yeah, he's a friend of ours here in Vegas, and he's a single dad, and he bought it for his daughter. So, I don't even have to pay for shipping. So I'm like, sweet.
I didn't see someone bid on it. I thought you guys passed on it. Oh, someone did buy it.
Well, somebody came because the delay was so late. Then he came in and he's just like, wait, I want that, for this much. And I'm like, okay, no problem. So yeah, I think it went for like $25 or something, which is
Oh, I must have been distracted. I guess I didn't see that part. Maybe, I don't know, I maybe bounced off or something for a moment.
Yep.
So let's see. Susan is dropping your link. Susan, thank you. And I love all
you, Susan.
emojis. Yeah. And Sandy says, I showed your channel some love. Thank you so much for that. And let's see, Sandy, cannot believe I've never heard of them. I just subscribed. They have over 1,800 subscribers. YouTube has never suggested them to me. I know, huh? Isn't that interesting? Now, how long have you had your YouTube channel?
We just started YouTube like 7 months ago.
Wow, when you're at 1,800 subscribers.
18,000, yeah.
18,000, sorry. Yeah. I started mine about 9 months ago. I'm at 2,000.
You got there quick, though. To be honest with you, I mean, we had a lot of backing from the show. We had a lot of fans that still loved us and wanted to see what we do on the daily basis. But when we first started this whole venture with YouTube, I literally was like, oh, you got 4,000 watch hours and 1,000, subscribers and whatever. I'm like, that's crazy, So, and while we were looking up that info before we really started, people are like, oh, it's been 9 months. I'm still trying to get to 1,000. And I'm like, that's kind of scary,
Yeah, you guys grew so fast. That's awesome. But you put up a lot more content than I do.
Yeah, and
I do like 5-6 auctions a week, and I think people don't rewatch auctions,
right?
But they'll watch storage unit buying videos or whatever else you put up. But people mostly don't rewatch auctions because the stuff's gone. Like, why are they going to watch it? Like, they're not going to.
And I think the only reason why, like, we'll rewatch it, like if we miss yours or we miss Mike's or we miss Locker Nuts, we'll watch their auction just to see what type of stuff they have. Maybe they have a better way of moving through the delay on the chat, certain things, just to get tips and whatever. But I know the normal person probably wouldn't rewatch it for any reason, and I have to give you like a huge shout out because you were the first one that I actually saw was doing auctions. And I know there's a lot of other channels doing them now. And, I just have to say you're like the pioneer to YouTube auctions. So you got it, and you did a great job.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you saying that. And it's a lot. Like last night I was on by myself.
Oof.
I show, I present, I talk to the chat, I write down what it is, and then I do it all by myself.
Yeah. That's a lot of work. It really is.
Yeah.
Because I know, like, even now, like with, where we are with our channel, literally putting up a video every day is tough, as you're editing, you're adding music, you're changing things around so that you get the best view for your viewer. And on top of editing and putting up the video and making sure you're talking to people in the chats, and that's why we're doing premieres, so that we can engage more with our viewers and talking to them in the chat. But then you're also buying an auction in real life, and you're loading and unloading every day. And it gets crazy sometimes. It's a lot of work. So putting an auction video up for us was actually easier than doing an actual auction or an actual, unit video.
Oh yeah. Yep. And I heard you say, was it last night or the night before? I don't know. When I was watching you, you were like, "Oh my gosh!" Like it took all day yesterday to prepare for this auction, and and like people don't realize how much work it is just to prepare for an
Oh yeah,
auction.
yeah, it's a lot of work
to prepare it, and then the aftermath of it, the invoicing and the shipping and all of that.
Yep.
Um, um, I'm actually going to change my banner on my YouTube banner on my YouTube page, and I'm going to write the words unedited, because the more YouTube people I talk to that put up content, their number one complaint is editing videos to put up. Like my videos don't have a intro or an outro. Like Robin, because she does such a phenomenal job.
She's awesome. Yeah.
She's awesome. She did a video that she just released. We watched it during my auction last night. We screen shared and we watched it about mermaids. The whole thing started with mermaids with me because it was like 4:00 in the morning. It was because I've been known to go all night. We pull all-nighters on my channel and do all night long. And it was crazy. It was like, I was delirious. It was like 4:00 in the morning, and they were paying me $1 a minute to stay on, like not to go. It was so crazy. I'm like, you guys are nuts. It was Barry who started it. It was like 1:00 in the morning. I said, that's it, you guys. This is going to be my last item. I said, I'm exhausted. I'm going to bed. And Jonathan was like, Donna, can I pay you $1 a minute to stay on longer? We want you to stay on longer. I'm like, all right,
that's great though. That's amazing that you have that following, to people who want to engage with you longer.
We have a good time. We have a good time. So I'm like, all right, I'll pimp myself out, I guess. $1 a minute. Well, before you know it, he sends me like $50. So now I'm going to stay on 50 more minutes, right?
Oh my goodness.
Like 1:00 in the morning. I'm like, all right, I'm going to stay on till 2. And then other people started sending me $20 and $25 and $15. It started adding it up. We were on until 7:00 in the morning. My husband got up at like 6. He's like, what are you doing?
I'm like, still going.
I'm on with my friends. He's like, you know these people? Like,
right?
A lot of people don't understand like YouTube.
Oh yeah.
I have made some of the most amazing friends on YouTube.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Amazing friends. It's it's funny, but I have made that decision. I actually just made that decision right now, right here, while I was talking to you, that I am gonna just splatter a banner across my page that says unedited.
You get what you get.
I don't have time.
I know.
I don't have time. I mean, this is it, and no bells, no whistles. This is it. This is me. This is what you got, and and that's what I'm going to do. And so that's, you guys, do you have any questions in the chat? If you have any questions whatsoever. Now, do you live near Mike, the storage pirate?
No, we're about, I'd say 6 or so hours from him.
Oh, so you're far.
He was actually on our show once.
He what?
He was on on Storage Hunters with us.
Oh, he was?
2 episodes, yeah.
Barbie Crafts, let's see. We have a jewelry auction every Tuesday. We start at 5 p.m. Eastern and sometimes go until around 3:30 a.m. Laugh out loud. We sleep a few hours, get up and invoice and get packages out for those who pay before 2:00. It sounds like my life, Barbie. Welcome.
Brad Boyd says, let's have an auction. Let's go.
Brad is great. He came to me from there's this he helped me get over 1,000 people. His name is Superdell, and he's a techno guy. Like he's all about technology.
Yeah.
And I think that was at like 800 and something subscribers, and he reached out to me, and we have a little something in common with losing a child, and he had like 300 people in his chat or something, and he's like, everybody go and subscribe to my new friend Donatella, and he got me over 1,000 subscribers, and
That's awesome.
Brad was one of the guys that came over from him, which is really awesome. So you never know, like, you know, I bounce around to different channels because I want to try to like broaden my people, like,
Yeah, absolutely.
instead of just storage unit buyers, or like you know, who would think this, you know, techno person would be but he comes to almost all my auctions and hangs out and contributes.
Right.
It's fun, and you know, we love it. And not the worst idea, Brad. You two should do a co-op auction. He wants to. There are there storage auctions online or local to you? Devs day two. Okay, so I buy all my storage auctions. Well, just recently, Jeremy and George came down for a visit. They were here for 5 days, and I went on a there was it started off at 100. It was a 2-day caravan, and there was 100 units available for sale.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and so the first day, I think, so it was like 6 locations or something. And the first day, I think it went down to like, you know, a lot of people settled their debt.
Mhm.
So it was exhausting. It was
yeah.
absolutely exhausting. I went with them both days to the caravan. I mean, it ended up being like maybe 60 by the time, you know, it was time to show them.
Right.
But it was like, I thought of it as like being at an amusement park where you're like walking around all day and you're walking from amusement to amusement.
Exactly.
And you're like, okay, and you're waiting in line, and then they open up the door, and it's like getting off the ride.
Go for the ride.
You're off the ride now, and you're kind of disappointed. It was nice. I mean, it was okay. Like,
Not what I expected. Yeah.
I felt like I was at an amusement park all day. I don't like live auctions. I never ever do live auctions. I do all my auction buying online, all of it.
The majority that we do is online now too. Every now and again, if online is a little bit dry, we'll see if there's any live ones out just to get something. But to be honest with you, the price that they go for live is ridiculous out here. So online just works for us way, way better.
The prices that they were getting for the live auction, and it was really weird because it was a clique. They all knew each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
They all knew each other. All of these live auction people that were there, they all knew each other. We were definitely like the newbies in town, like
right.
That we were like the others, you know, like we didn't belong.
Mm-hmm.
And, but the prices that they bid on were absolutely ridiculous. I mean,
and it's hard for us because doing live auctions doesn't work to our advantage. Being on TV, everybody's like, oh, I'm going to bid them up just because they were on TV. I'm going to bid them up and see if we could get that going, you know? And, you know, the funny thing is that before we did a TV show, we actually bought auctions. So we're never going to leave ourselves with a bid that we don't see profit. So then they get stuck with it, and it just creates a big problem, you know. But you know, that's the thing. It's that's how the TV show worked to a disadvantage for us, because you know, live auctions were pretty much done for us at that point, you know.
So now let me ask you, if you see a storage unit that you're very, very interested in, and you know you want to buy it, you know that you want it, do you just put a proxy on it and walk away?
No. You
don't?
Mm-mm.
You bid?
Yep.
You watch it and you bid?
Yep.
I don't.
Yeah. Well,
I throw my proxy out there. Like, I'll look at a unit, and like this morning I looked at that unit. It was I put a $210 proxy on it. And I said, I'm not, I don't need it. I don't need it. I got 2 storage units last week. I still got so much inventory to bring to auction. Hi, Talbert's mom. Thanks for joining.
Hi, Talbert's mom.
Thank you. Thanks, honey. Thanks for being here. And like, I'm like, you know what? I'll just, so I threw the proxy on it and I just walked away. And, they bid up.
Most of the time when you throw a proxy bid,
They're all the bidding systems also the same.
the bidding system set up the same way. So pretty much,
Will tell you what your high bid is. Even though I don't know you.
everybody will know sort of what that high bid is.
Yeah.
And they'll bring you almost right to that high bid every single time, no matter what.
How do they know that?
Okay, so the way it's set up with the bid,
It's just,
it basically tells you that.
hold on.
either meet-
Brandon's,
So
go ahead, honey.
Brandon, come on in the picture.
All right.
Come on in. Come sit down.
All right.
Hi, Brandon.
How you doing,
Thanks
Dawn?
for
So in
joining.
all my last years of doing this, basically, so when you put a proxy bid in, right?
Yeah.
Let's say your bid is 250, your proxy, and let's say the auction is sitting at 100. So what happens, the way the system is all set up, which is very flawed, is every time I hit $10 increments, it's going to tell me that I've met your bid, but you're still the highest bidder. I have to go one more bid before I'm now high bidder. So I now know exactly what your high bid is, as long as it's going $10 increments.
Yeah, but the person's not going to go that extra $10 if they can't afford to buy that unit for $100.
Right, but let's say I'm upset you went as high as you did. So not that I would do this, but what they do is they'll dime you all the way to your max bid, and then all of a sudden
They'll know not to go that
have to go
last
one more,
one
and you're
bid
still stuck at the
because
high
you're
bid of
still
what your
stuck.
max bid was. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very flawed system.
So
Say hi to Sandy, honey.
Oh, Sandy, how you doing? My glasses.
yeah, but if they bid me up to that last what my proxy is, they're stuck with the unit.
No, you're stuck with it because you took the
Because they know,
yeah.
but by the way it's worded, they can tell that they have the ability to go one more bid pretty
Correct.
much and know that you're still going to be the highest bidder, but it's just bumping you up on your proxy.
Yeah,
you know,
so-
or bumping
Okay.
you up on your
Are
bid.
you talking about storage treasures?
All of them, that Locker Fox,
All of them
Bid
do the
13, storage.
Okay, so my proxy's at $210.
So in other words, if I went on there, Donna, what would happen is that I wouldn't do it. But obviously, if I were that person, I could go on there, nickel you all the way to 210. You'd be stuck with that bid, and I know not to go any higher because the system would tell me that I met your bid, that you have the exact same bid as me, and that I need to go $10 higher in order to basically be the high bidder.
Ah, got it. I understand what you're saying now.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying.
And so that's the flawed system part of it,
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
which I don't like because that's why I don't do proxy bids. I used to do them, and Donna, every time I did a proxy bid, it didn't matter if it was $1,000. I ended up being the high bidder at $990.
They come right
Yeah,
within
but it's
10
good.
every time.
See how you learn from each other?
Yep.
Let me just grab this.
And there are people out there that are double dollar signs that would do that, just to do it.
Yep, absolutely. And that's the thing. Like, we have one particular out here in Vegas,
They all
and
know.
and I'm not going to mention who it is, but
You know who it is.
but everybody pretty much that watches, whatever. Anyway, and every single time he sees our name, no matter what, he just bids us up on purpose, just for that reason. And he's got the money to do it, so he doesn't care. And then all of a sudden, 2 weeks later, you'll see that same unit up for auction again, even though we know it's him who won it. So it's frustrating.
They're talking about my drug bags. Susan Aronson says we love Donna's drug bags. Do you know how James Aaron Brown is doing? Somebody must have said something about my bags because of the way I ship my stuff. They call them my kilo bags because I use the Home Depot black bags, so they end up looking like drug bags.
Right?
They're always asking about my drug bags, but yeah, that's really interesting. I really appreciate you sharing that knowledge with me because I never really thought about it. And I wonder, you mentioning that there's somebody out there that's bidding you up, I've had some trolls, even at my measly, thank you for the super chat. Love both your channels. Keep up the great content. Much love to you both. Thank you. The £9 hammer. Thank you for the super chat. That was so nice of you. I I wonder, people like to mess with you, right?
They do. They do.
Like,
We got keyboard warriors out there that just have nothing better to do,
nothing
unfortunately.
better to do. I mean, I was trolled really bad for a while there. I don't know if you guys were following me then.
Yeah.
Were
Yeah.
you? Did you
Yeah,
see?
I was. I've been watching for a while. Yeah.
Did
Yeah.
you see how bad it was? They were
Yeah.
coming in as me in the chat, and they were coming in as like, and then ordering pizza and having it sent to my house. Thank
Yep.
goodness we have teenagers and they're hungry. I mean, but it's like, and then there's people that say, "Oh, don't talk about it. Like, don't feed into it. You're doing exactly what the trolls want." But you guys know I'm very transparent,
Right.
very transparent, and I don't mind.
That's one of our, I should say, he always says this to me. It's one of our biggest flaws, but being from Boston, and I think you can attest to this. To be honest with you, if I don't like you, I'm not going to sit there and have the whole let's go through this fake conversation and how are you?
Listen, I was just having this conversation with someone just last night, and she's in the chat. If our friendship is going to be work, I don't want to be friends with you.
Right.
Friendship shouldn't be work.
Exactly.
Friendship should be, if I'm busy, listen, I'm shipping, I'm trying to concentrate, I'm doing my invoices, I'll call you back, boom, or text, I'll call you right back. Like, and it should just be natural. It should be natural.
Right.
There shouldn't be any work to a friendship.
And see, I noticed in California, in Vegas, it's so different to me, it's so different than it is in Boston. Like in Boston, you have this group of friends, and you know exactly who they are. And in California, it's like you may have friends, but they're talking behind your back, and they're
acquaintances.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, it's a lot of it is fake. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna say, oh, how are you, and pretend that I like you, and I don't do that. If I don't like you, and it's just I can't make it worth my time to sit there and try to fake a friendship.
I agree with you 100%. My husband struggles with that a lot. My husband misses his Boston friends big time.
Yeah.
Big time. Yeah. He misses his pals, like they would go to the end of the earth for you kind of pals. Yep. Like the friendships that we made in Boston, they're like lifelong friendships.
Yep.
I don't know if it's just the Boston area or what it is, but where we live in the Palm Beaches, it's very transient. A lot of people move here from other parts of the country, and I have a few friends, that are like true Floridian friends that like grew up here. But for the most parts, it's a mix of a lot of people from all over the country, and I think they struggle with forming that wholesome friendship that we have. Where I grew up, it's like, we ran around with the same kids, in the neighborhood, until the streetlights came on.
You did something wrong, and their mother is going to tell your mother, and then you're in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still friends with all those kids.
Yeah,
it's really crazy. Like I'm still friends with them, but my friendships here have come and gone.
Yeah, and that's how it is here. It's the same way. It really is.
Yeah. I wonder if it's because I think Vegas is kind of a transient.
Oh, very much so.
Oh, yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah.
What brought you to Vegas?
I don't know. Gambling.
No. We were actually, when we were living in California, don't do that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You have to go by here.
Like scolding me, just went like.
Stop it.
What is he saying?
He's trying to move my mouse, and he does.
Apparently, I'm not allowed to touch the mouse pad.
When we were living in California, we were actually not only buying auctions, but we were also buying pallets. And there's a huge liquidation depot out here in Vegas. So we were driving back and forth from Vegas or California to Vegas 3 times a week. And so finally we just said, you know what? Let's just move to Vegas. That's it, and it'll be easier. It's right around the corner. And then you know, the quality started going really downhill with the company, and they lost a lot of contracts with the big companies they were working with, like Amazon and whatever, for their, you know, shelf pulls or overstock or whatever. And we just started getting junk from this company.
Yeah.
And I said,
Selling on eBay at the time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I put a video up on YouTube under another channel, and I had 1 million views in like 2 days.
Oh, you're kidding.
I didn't know it, and I didn't know how the monetization all that
We
worked
didn't
with YouTube. I
understand
didn't all
that.
stuff.
So at that time, we were just coming off the show, really,
Yeah.
and
I
not
put
even
another one up, and I get like 500,000 views. I'm going, had I know what I know now, it would have been a really huge channel.
Yeah.
I didn't know, you know, but whatever. So I just, you know,
What was the video that you put up that had 2 million views? Like what? Was
just liquidation, showing how
it was liquidation
pallets.
buying when we bought pallets.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what happened was I bought this unknown pallet for $100, and inside that pallet right before Christmas was legitimately 300 brand new bottles of 1 million by
Paco
Rabanne. Those were all $40 each. A bunch of hoverboards. Then inside there was 4 Canon cameras, digital cameras, that were like $1,000 each. They just didn't manifest it. So it was, you know, it was $20,000, $30,000 score, you know, but
yeah.
And it was all legitimate. I mean, they happened every now and then. And then we were at that time, you could buy these pallets for $110, $150, and they were giving us espresso makers worth $2,000. They just weren't checking them.
Yep.
And I would roll them out. I mean, I could just roll this stuff out and just hand over money. Boom, boom, boom. And, you know.
Okay, so let me ask you, like, how do you liquidate your storage units that you buy? Like, what do you do with the? Now you're doing auctions now, but
yeah.
before that,
I just keep buying more storage units to keep storing the stuff. I do.
He's somewhat become a hoarder. Like,
so yeah. So do you have an actual facility? Do you have a storage unit, or do you use
I have 4 of them.
Yeah, you put the seasonal hat on now.
Oh, my husband just passed me something.
Oh,
there we go. There we go.
See you at the Stanley Cup.
See, now I got to go get my Celtics hat, I guess, right?
Yeah.
We're not big Celtics fans, so we don't have Celtics. We have Red Sox, we have Patriots, and we have.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Boston Bruins. He loves the Bruins.
I got about 6 acres of land with 5 or 6 shipping containers that houses they're all full right now. So I had to go out and buy another one last week.
You have 6 acres of land with 5 or 6 shipping containers full of merchandise.
Yes.
Okay, so
I think he's saving for the apocalypse, and he doesn't want to let anything go.
How are you going to get rid of all that merchandise?
No, we sell a lot.
I haven't figured that part out yet.
We do swap meets. We do a lot of Facebook Marketplace, offer a Poshmark, all of that. We really don't use eBay too much because, to be honest with you, the quantity that we were selling at one time, they legitimately thought we were a big business, so they started taking advantage of that. And there were a lot of scammers when they saw like the volume amount that we were doing, and we just got killed with eBay. So we're like, you know what? It's not even worth it. We're going to shut down our eBay and just deal with it.
It wasn't, Donna. Here's a good example. There was one. We were just going through our tax records the other day for last year, back in February, the year before. And I looked at 1 month, and I had like 73 transactions in 1 month, which is not much, but the dollar amount was like well over 80,000. And I looked at what I owed eBay for that month, and it was legitimately, with shipping, of course, was like 29,000. And then what you got to pay the IRS? There's no money there. There's no money there. But what you're doing is brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. And that's why we all latched on, because I just said, you know, this gives them a better deal because we don't have to raise their price because of commission fees. They get a better deal. If they want to resell, all good for them. But it was just brilliant to do it that way. It was just the brilliant workaround, you know, and obviously Locker Nuts and everybody else is doing it, and it's worked really well for everybody, and I think everybody's happy about it. So,
but it's not for everybody.
Right.
Wait until you see how hard it is to.
Oh yeah. I mean,
you know, and I said it before earlier. I hate to keep repeating myself, but to prepare for it, to show it, and then I invoice everybody. I invoice everybody through PayPal. I invoice all my people, and then I copy the invoice to a brand new email. And then, you know, I wait for the payment. And I mean, I know that you're doing it where you're like demanding payment.
Yeah.
They even bid on something else. I have a really great, so you guys have a really big channel. So you've got people all over the place, you know.
Correct.
My channel is still like quaint and small. Like I know all my buyers. They're like my regular buyers. So I don't
Right.
I don't have that problem. If I had a really big channel, I may have that problem. Like I know I haven't watched any of his auctions yet. I haven't gone into his room, but someone told me that Storage Pirate did an auction and people were buying stuff and not paying for it.
Yeah.
That's been the problem. Not with us. Us has been everybody that buys.
Everybody's that bought from
wonderful.
us is
Absolutely
wonderful.
wonderful.
But we have a lot of the same viewers as
you do.
As you do.
Yeah.
You know, we got Susan and we got Talbert's mom and we got Robin and, you know, Danny Mae and, you know, it's, you know, so I think that's it. But I think when, and Pirates regulars are always great too. But, you know, every now and again, you're going to get this one person that stumbles across your YouTube and you know, goes and purchases something. Maybe they don't understand the rules. You know, you don't know.
I make everybody pre-register.
Right.
I have all of their information. Not that that's gonna secure a payment,
Right.
but it's gonna give me the security that they're serious about buying something, because why would they give me their home address, their phone number,
Right.
their YouTube name, their, you know, so I make everybody pre-register before
Right.
before they can bid. That way it eliminates that altogether, because they're not going to give you that information if they're trolls, and they're not going to and they're just going to bid and not end up paying you. So,
Right. Absolutely.
Do you mind, Donna, if I just answer Sandy's question about one of the characters that was on the show?
Please go ahead.
So yeah, Sandy. So Jesse, kind of our arch nemesis. That show was a curse. Everybody's either died or been divorced in that show. We are still the only ones together. But Jesse, yes, the hostility was real. The fights were very rarely manifested or manufactured. And ultimately, Jesse ended up getting stage 4 cancer a few years ago. So
he is in remission though, and he's doing much better. And you know, we have spoken to him since then, because I think when it comes down to it, you let bygones be bygones, and you just do what's appropriate for the human being that he is, and what we are, and the friendship that we had before the craziness happened on the show. But yeah, the show was a curse in a lot of different
I was a
ways.
bit more at fault in that, and that is that our relationship kind of folded, I should say, because I decided that I was bigger than everybody else, and I didn't need the agent that he wanted to go with. He wanted to share the same agent, and I didn't want to do that. And I felt I could do it all on my own, and I kind of left him out to dry in a way with that agent who kind of screwed him over. So that kind of caused that whole thing. That what you saw on the show was as a result of that.
Right.
So
That wasn't the young couple, right? Was that on Storage
that was
Wars?
Storage Wars.
That was Storage Wars.
Yeah.
The young couple with the blonde, with the long hair.
Yeah.
Yep. That was
Jared and Brandy.
Jared and Brandy. Yeah.
We were supposed to be them.
That was supposed to be Lori and Brandon.
Yeah, so
then we went to True TV.
Yeah, but again, another manufactured relationship. They weren't together before that. Now they're not together either. Now,
I think the shows were. It was a curse. All the shows were a curse to everyone.
Do you remember the Little Rascals? We call it the curse of the Little Rascals.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, it was a curse. Everybody's dead, or yeah. So, but. Yeah, that was all, it was not manufactured. That was genuinely real. But like a lot of that was because of what we did outside the show that caused the friction to happen on the show.
Okay, so listen, I have to read this. So Susan writes, Robin, I just opened one of my kilos, one of my shipments. She bought a, there's actually one there I have to ship out. I don't know if you can see it. I saw the big jewelry jars, full of jewelry. So she says, where is it? She says, I just opened one of my kilos. I know these aren't your balls because they're way too big. So funny. So in this jewelry jar, Robin won it. In this jewelry jar were these big, huge like a big bauble necklace of balls. So it's just like has exploded into this thing on my channel with balls. Right. So then Robin writes, you need to send them to Laurie, Susan, for answering the questions honestly. Yeah, got all the balls. Yep. Yep, Ansley. I sell kilos. They're all talking. All of their mailmans are like
Right.
packages because I don't use the poly bags. You know,
Right?
I have one here somewhere that I had pulled out. I was talking about it in one of the shows. They're so thin, the poly bags, that I'm afraid that like they're gonna rip and the merchandise is gonna get damaged. So I buy the Home Depot 3-ply, big, huge, the thick contractor bags,
Yeah.
and I cut those up. And I don't put things in boxes. I like neatly fold. Like if someone buys 15 pieces of clothing or like 100 scarves, and I fold it all up and then I shrink wrap it and then I wrap it in those kilo in the black bags, and that's how I
Right?
keep my stuff.
So
So
we
it's
get lucky on that stuff. We get that in a lot of storage units. We just hoard it up. You find like the bubble wrap and the
We find tons of
yeah,
bubble
the
wrap in
boxes.
the
So you just
envelopes
save all of
and-
it.
yeah.
We just
I don't. I never find bubble wrap.
no.
No, I was, as a matter of fact, I was just showing everybody last night. Like, I have to buy. I mean, I do a lot of auctions, but like, I buy. This is my bubble.
Oh yeah. I remember buying those day in and day out. Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know how big it is? I have to buy I'll buy 4 of those, and they'll last me like a week and a half for the amount of
That's
stuff.
it.
Wow.
Wow.
And
Wow.
I ship out a lot of game
Yeah.
systems and movies and breakables and I use less and less boxes. I usually use I use mostly bubble wrap because my postman said that if you wrap things soft, they go into the soft buckets. So they have bins at the post office. The boxes get stacked, and there's more chance of things breaking when they're in a box because the boxes get stacked. The soft stuff, so I always make sure that it's soft, even if it's wrapped in bubble wrap, goes into the soft bins with all like the clothes and all the soft stuff. So there's
Never knew that. I
breakage.
never knew that. Yeah.
Yeah, my
Never knew.
dad told me that.
Well, and here's the thing: where are you purchasing the bubble wrap from? Like
Okay, so I was just talking about this last night as well. I call her a little old lady. She's probably only like 10 years older than me, but she just looks really old. I mean, maybe it's because of her gray hair or something. I don't know, but she's super, super nice. And it probably was like a family business. Her and her husband probably had it. She's local. I pay a little bit more, but I like to support her.
Yeah.
Right.
I'd rather support her than buy it off of Amazon, off of some big person, because like she's like a real person. Like she's always so happy to see me when I walk in. And I mean, I'd rather give her an extra $10 or $15 on the rolls than to give it to some big, huge. Sometimes supporting small businesses is more important to me.
Yeah.
Because
we have a company out here, and they're a smaller company, but they actually make their boxes. So if you need some random size box, and he'll make it to size for you. And so we definitely go there, but he does give us really, really good rates on bubble wrap and boxes and whatnot. So because we buy in bulk from him,
Right.
You know what I want to buy, but it's so expensive, is the machine.
Yeah.
And then you buy the rolls.
Mm-hmm.
But the roll is expensive too, because I researched it. And then you blow up. You can blow up. You can do the pillow. You can buy pillows, or you can do the different size bubbles. And then you can just. For me, it's space too. I would save so much space just to have.
Yeah.
Bubble wrap. It takes up so much room.
It does.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd have the stuff.
I like that. 9-pound Hammer said she bought a storage unit last week and found 4,000 bubble mailers. Woo, that's good.
That's awesome. That's a score. I never find stuff like that. I love how they how they are packed and reused bags on my orders. Susan, yeah, it was so funny. Someone made a comment in one of my chats. I have to buy something tonight because I need some contractor bags because I use the contractor bags.
Huh.
So he was funny saying that. But Yeah, I don't know if anybody has any other questions in the chat. We've been on for an hour and a half. It went by really, really quick. I said to Laurie, we'll just go on for a quick hour, but if anybody has any questions, either for me or Laurie or Brandon, I really appreciate you coming on, you guys. So
We're just going down to film a video in a little while anyway. So our trailer's down, so it's just going down to
We need new tires for the trailer, and we can't find them anywhere. So,
oh, no.
yeah, because they're like specialized tires and different size than a normal trailer. So it's pretty hard to find. So we're just on the hunt for new trailer tires right now.
Yeah.
My husband ordered new tires for our truck, and he ordered them, I think, the company that he ordered them from, they literally slapped the label right on the tire, and it was delivered, like the tire was delivered by Federal Express with the shipping label on it.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, there's a big tire company. He's not home, or I would Danny May says 2 more minutes. She just gave me a $2 super chat. She's so cute. I love Danny May. She's adorable. So cute. Danny, did you love the video last night? I was like so afraid I was going to offend you. Have you seen her video, the chicken video? Have you had a chance to watch it? I know
I watched a part of it, only the first like 5-10 minutes or so, because I haven't been able to settle down since. We've been
it's
on the go.
It's so hard. And I found these headbands. I don't know where they are. And they were they're chicken drumsticks. And I put them in my head last night, and I was like, oh God, because she loves her chickens. I'm like, I want to send these to Danny May. And then I was like, oh God, I hope she's not offended. Like, maybe she doesn't even eat chicken because she loves chickens, right? Animals.
I want to say, Sandy, Brandon and I will both definitely be thinking of you, and we are so sorry to hear that. And, hopefully, tons of prayers come your way, and maybe that changes around. Stay positive. And
I missed it. What happened to Sandy? I didn't see it.
She was diagnosed with cancer, and the doctor gave her, I guess, 3 to 6 months.
Oh no, Sandy, what kind of cancer is it? Did she say what kind of cancer it was?
I missed that part. I can go back up in the chat.
I'm so sorry, Sandy. 3 to 6 months. It sounds like it may be something like pancreatic cancer, unfortunately. Oh, it's bone cancer. Terminal bone cancer, end-stage liver failure. Oh, Sandy, I'm so sorry, honey. Go live it up, sweetheart, while you still have the strength. I'm so sorry.
Absolutely.
If I ever get the traveling Robin mermaid, I'll be sure to send it to her. Do you know about that? Do you know about the traveling mermaid?
No.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. This girl, Lisa, flipping crazy. She made this mermaid of Robin, and it's going to be a traveling mermaid. It's going to be going up for auction at different people's auctions. So you never know, you may end up with her, and people have to bid on her, and then they have to auction it off to the next person, and it's going to be, I don't know.
Oh, that's great. Like a flat Stanley sort of, so it travels all over the place.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to do it, but I guess they're going to try to do it. Who knows? It's a crazy idea, but this whole mermaid thing with
that's super funny. That is so funny. Well, I saw somebody ask in the chat how Brandon and I met. It's really a funny story.
Okay.
So I was in high school, and I had this super crush on this kid, and then he brought his friend with him one day, and I was like, oh, forget him. I was like, I like him, and it was Brandon. So we, started dating and whatnot, and then about, I would say, like 3 months into our relationship, he said he was going back to California to go to his mom's for a bit. And I was like, okay, whatever, 3 months, it is what it is. Okay, that's cool.
So you were in high school at the time?
Yeah. Yep. And so he went back to California. I was a senior. Yeah, I was a senior. So he went back to California, and Boston's like this, and California's like this, and massive, right? So I didn't know what area of California. I had no idea. And then I found out I was pregnant, and I was like, oh no, like I don't know where he is. I don't even know. So he stayed out in California for a good like 5 years. And then I bumped into him at the grocery store. And I was like, oh boy, like, what do I even do? So he came up to me and I was like, hey, how are you? How you been? And he was like, oh, I'm good. I'm good. I just got back yesterday. I'm like, oh, that's super cool. So I said, do you want to come over for dinner, sometime? And he was like, yeah, definitely. So he came over and he walked in the door, and, my daughter at this point, I already had a son at that point and been divorced and whatnot. So
He never knew he had a son?
he had a daughter. I had a son with somebody else. I was married.
Oh, he never knew he had a daughter?
Yeah.
You never had his phone number or anything when he left to go to California?
It was like the 90s. It was early 90s, and nobody had cell phones really,
Yeah.
So he walked in and he saw the picture on the wall, and he goes, oh my goodness, that's my kid. And I'm like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You just gave me goosebumps.
They said it is. And then we got married a month later, and then we've been together now 21 years.
Oh my God, that's a crazy story. That's awesome.
It's pretty insane. So yeah, it's so now we have 2 kids together, and then the son that I had in between, he's basically raised him since he was a year. So yep.
And to just run into him random at the supermarket.
Yeah. It was pretty crazy. Yeah.
And you never, hi Kelly. Kelly just came into the house, and you never tried to like get in touch with him
I just had no clue where he could possibly. I didn't even know what area of California his mom lived. I mean, California's huge, and
so you were 18 years old. So
18.
Your parents must have helped you with the baby.
Quite a bit. Yeah, they helped me. I grew up very quickly, and I did a lot on my own. I moved out. I got my own place. I did what I had to do, and I became a mom, and my parents would help me while I was in, working and stuff. But then I also had jobs where I could take her with me. So, I worked at the Montessori school, and I would take her with me while I was there. So, it worked out for me. And, if I had to work like overtime or crazy hours, then, my dad or my mom would watch her. So
yeah, you were smart. You were you were resourceful. That's what
absolutely.
When you raise a family, and these people like, oh, I can't afford to do daycare, or I can't afford it. Well, then you find a job that can accommodate you and your child. It's like I as a matter of fact, this one of the storage unit that I bought last week, she was a young single mom, and she took a position. I don't know about Las Vegas, but here, property managers sometimes have the option of having living quarters at the facility. They have at the facility. Do they do that where you are?
Yep.
Very common here, where the storage managers live at the facility.
That's every facility here.
Every facility, it's like
every facility.
Yeah, well, not all of them here, but a lot of them are. And she was this young girl, and she had this cute, adorable little baby, in a high chair next to her. And I said, oh, it's so great that they allow you to take your baby to work. And she said, well, it's why I took this job. She says, I live here. She says, I live in a 1-bedroom apartment here on the facility, and I just have to come down the stairs, and I work in the office, and I can bring my daughter to work with me.
That's great.
That's resourceful. That's
absolutely.
A girl. She doesn't want to live off the system. She doesn't want, get welfare or whatever. She found a resourceful job where she can, like you did, where you your child's.
Yeah. Yep. You just got to do what you got to do, you know, and find a way. That's it.
Right?
So,
Yeah. I've known my husband, my people in the chat have heard me tell this story, but um, I married my little brother's best friend. So I've known my husband since he was 11 years old and I was 14 years old, but I couldn't stand him. I could not stand. He'd be always at the house. And I remember growing up saying to my parents, doesn't he have his own home? Doesn't he have his own family? Like, why does he always have to be with us? And we had a summer home up in Maine, up in Waterboro, Maine, and his parents had a house in Ogunquit. I told you that when we were talking in our chat. And so he used to come, even though his parents were on the ocean. When you're young, the lake is more fun because
absolutely.
we had canoes, we had a small motorboat, we had trees with swings that you could, swing from the trees and jump into the lake, and
Yep.
and the fishing on the lake. I mean, the house on the ocean, which my mother-in-law still has, and it's gonna be ours, is really great. But being on a lake as a child is so much more fun.
Oh, absolutely.
More opportunities. So he would come. His parents lived an hour east, and my parents lived an hour inland in Maine, like almost like right straight across. So he would go to Maine with his mother and father to the beach house, but he'd be at the lake house with us and my family. It's like, in the summertime, it's like he's always here.
Can't get enough of him.
Rid of him. I couldn't get rid of him. And then I didn't see him for a really long time. I moved out of my parents' house when I was 24. I moved out of my parents' house, and he had started bodybuilding, and I hadn't seen him in a really, really long time. And I was dating Angelo Regano. I was like so in love. I was going to marry him.
Right.
And I ran into him. I was 29. I ran into him, and I remember looking at him, and I was like, because I was always into like the muscle bound kind of guys,
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's a Boston girl thing.
I think it is.
So I ran into him, and I was like, Ricky Bottolino, what happened to you? I was like, who? And
Right? Not the little squirt you remember, right?
not the little squirt I remembered from being a little pain in the butt when he was little. So yeah, I married him, and we had 4 kids together, and we're still together. So, people say, how long have you been married? Well, we've been married 25 years, but we've been together, I feel like, my entire life.
Right.
My entire life. And we fight like brother and sister.
Right? Because you just know so much about each other, and you know what gets under their skin,
Oh gosh, we fight like crazy. But we love each other. Like we would never, I think the Vikings are home. That's what I call my kids, the Vikings. But yeah, I mean, we've been together at this point, especially after losing a child, I mean, what worse could a couple go through? Like
absolutely.
The statistics of divorce after losing a child are like 97% end up in divorce after losing a child to either some sort of illness or traumatic event or whatever it is. So we're like the 3%, and we're still, trust me, it's Donna and Laurie, you should see the Canadian mints. Once you've had Canada, you never go back.
Actually, funny story, Sandy. Brandon is actually French Canadian, so I worked out there.
There you go. Yeah, I just can't imagine. I just can't imagine life without him. I mean,
I'm the same. I'm the same way. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like all I've ever known. So
right. Yep.
That's
absolutely.
So yeah, that's my story of my whole life,
and I love it. That's great. That's an amazing story, and it's the same. It's kind of funny, like with my there's somebody that I know. I'm not going to say who it is, but me and Brandon, legitimately, we went had a justice of the peace. We had a tiny little ceremony with just us and my brother, a couple of friends and whatever. But literally cost us maybe $200. We were just like, let's just do this. Let's just do this on a whim and, a random day and let's go. And we know of someone that paid over $60,000 for their wedding and they didn't last. And I said, to be honest with you, it matters about the person, not about how much you pay, and if you could pay $100,000 and love each other immensely for the rest of your life, and you could pay 100, it doesn't matter as long as you have that connection with that person,
I just want to say, Sandy, I'm so sorry for your loss. She says she can relate. She lost a stillborn son, and I'm sorry. It's hard. It's hard in or out of the womb. I know to lose a child is horrible, but no, my husband and I had a big, huge, enormous Godfather style wedding.
See, that's what I've always wanted. I always wanted.
It was really, so for those of you that are in the chat that don't know like what I'm going to mention, but Laurie knows because she's from Boston. So we had we had a mass. We had a full-blown Catholic mass, an hour in the church. And then from there, we had our first reception at the Copley Fairmont Plaza in Boston.
Wow.
Yeah. Big, huge.
Yeah.
It was a Godfather style. It was just for the wedding party.
Yep.
Just for the wedding party, which was huge, the wedding party. And I had lots of family that came from Italy for my wedding. It was like a really big deal. I was like princess for the day. So we had that. And then we sat down to a beautiful sit-down dinner, whole bunch of us. And then we did all of our formal pictures at the Copley Fairmont. And then we got into, I didn't want limousines because I had to be different. We hired white Suburbans to transport all of our guests. There was a whole bunch of them down to Marina Bay in Quincy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And
amazing.
At Marina Bay in Quincy, we have a boat. So a lot of our friends are boating people.
Yeah.
And so a lot of our friends came with their boats to the reception, and we had over 240 people at our wedding reception, and we had 2 tents set up. One tent was all the tables and chairs that people dined at with the band and the dance floor, and the other tent was just for the food. And we partied like it was 1999.
Oh yeah.
For the wee hours of the morning, and then we had it catered. We had it catered afterwards. We had about 7 boats that friends of ours that had big boats that attended our wedding that came to Marina Bay by boat from Boston, and then they lined up the boats in like the very front of the marina.
Yep.
And then after the reception, we had a catered event on the boats that started at like 1:00 in the morning. So our wedding went from like 11:00 in the morning until like 5:00 the next morning. And we had it catered. They brought down all kinds of like munchies. And what did Brandon say?
Because we got married. Literally, he signed the paperwork for the justice of the peace, and then he went back to work.
No, mine was a circus. Mine was an actual circus. And when my husband and I got married, we had been together for 5 years, and we had planned a wedding. It was it the year before or 2 years before? So we were engaged. We got engaged. We knew each other forever. So we got engaged a year after we got married. I planned a wedding. So we were planning on having a wedding. We both had really good jobs. We both earned a lot of money back then.
Yeah.
I worked at Winston Flowers. I was their top salesperson. My husband had a very successful steel business. He had a union shop. So we had planned our wedding to take place on the Amalfi Coast of Italy. That's where we were getting married, on the Amalfi Coast.
Wow.
But we canceled that because there was some problems. I'm not going to go into it, but there was some problems with there was some problems. So we canceled that wedding. And so then I started planning the second wedding, which was at the Copley Fairmont and at Marina Bay. And about 4 months before my wedding. So now remember, we've been planning a wedding for 4 years now. First 2 years, first 2 years got canceled, and now it's been another year and a half that I planned the second one, and we've been together forever. During that time, we had a whole bunch of friends that couldn't get pregnant. They were going through fertility, and I said to my husband, "What if we can't get pregnant? Like, I'm 35. I'm 35 years old. Like, I got married late." I said, "I'm 35 years old. Like, what if we can't get pregnant?" So we stopped trying to get pregnant, stopped trying to prevent the pregnancy.
Yep.
Fertile Myrtle. Bingo. So
right away.
I had to call the priest at the church. We were having a Catholic mass.
Right.
Tell him we were pregnant. My husband's father flipped out. He was
imagine.
Let that happen, blah, blah, blah. The priest was fine with it. So I walked down the aisle 4 months pregnant.
Wow.
We had been together forever. I mean, who cares? Who cares?
Exactly.
Yes.
And it's funny because, after me and Brandon, met back up and whatnot, and literally we were probably 3 weeks into dating again. And he was just like, "Let's just get married." I'm like, "Okay." And he's like, "This weekend?" And I'm like, "This weekend?" I said, "My parents aren't even here or anything." And it's just like, "Let's just do it." So my parents came back from visiting family in New York. And I said, "Mom, by the way, I have to tell you something. I got married this weekend." They almost flipped. They were like, "What?"
Oh, so you were in your 20s at that point.
Yeah. 23. I think I was 23.
23, yeah.
You were not 18. You're older than me. He's got Peter Pan syndrome, everybody. So he literally is the little boy who will never grow up, ever.
That's my husband too. My husband's the same way. He's definitely the same way.
It's crazy.
He'll never grow up.
That's the tough part about YouTube is that I always joke about everything, and I don't really take a lot of things serious. I don't even know how I have this house. I somehow just manage to pay it every month, but so it's a big but yeah, I don't even know. I don't know. They never come and repo the cards or anything. So I'm doing something right. I'm doing something right. But no, I just try to transcend that into YouTube, and it's funny because it's not trying to go in a different direction here, but what you think works sometimes YouTube doesn't. Like I watch your channel, I go, and I said this to her the other day, Donna. I said, I don't get why Donna is only at 2,000. I mean, everything about the channel works because I watch it. And no, I really do. I swear to you, I do.
He does all the time.
But
it's so funny. It's like, Don't tell us live.
But
I'm
there's
like,
other
okay.
channels. There's other channels, and I'm not saying anything bad about this, that it really doesn't do much for me, but yet their subscribers are through the roof.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I think Brandon, I think that I don't add like a lot of my storage units are kind of downers. Like I do get some home runs.
Yeah.
I was thinking about trying to add some, different content.
Right.
I don't know why my channel, I mean, I'm happy with the growth of my channel,
Yeah.
But they always say don't compare yourself to people. But when I compare myself to you, look at how you've exploded in 7 months. But like Lauren said, you had a lot of fans and followers with you before.
And if you think about it, to be honest with you, after being as massive as we were in the UK, to only have 18,000 is nothing when you look at other channels that are absolutely way bigger than we are that had no following at all. So it's really hard to tell.
Here's what we've noticed on, and this is gonna just it doesn't and it won't even matter. Well, it will matter, but if you miss one day of uploading YouTube, one day your channel will be set back. There was a remarkable video on about 2 years ago. I really wasn't watching YouTube much then.
That's if you were posting every day,
This guy basically stated how he lost $1 million overnight, and he just didn't post for 2 days, and he was making $1 million a year in ad revenue, and it was all gone by just not posting for 2 days.
And unfortunately, when his dad passed, and we went through some crazy times that we literally took like a month off, and
I think you're exactly right when you talk about switch up the content, because we've been discussing this for about a week now. And that's what we're going to start doing. We have a couple of local friends that are going to go out. We're going to start kind of doing these ghost town adventures where you're kind of exploring ghost towns. That's
like
sort of thing.
abandoned towns and stuff.
Obviously it won't appeal to everybody that's already subscribed, but at the same time you pick up new people. We're going out to this place called Hinckley, California. I don't know if you ever heard of it, Aaron Brockovich. Well, ironically, my cousin is from there.
Of course, Erin Brockovich, because she did the whole thing with the water in
That's where we're going.
That's the town, and,
Yeah, it's
and
the
it's on
town.
our way back to where his mom lives. So,
and ironically, I mentioned to my mother the other day. My mother says, "Well, your cousin lived there," and I said, "You're kidding me?" She goes, "No, she got cancer." I said, "Wait, like everybody else?" She said, "Yeah." So it's true. Everybody did get cancer there. That's the truth. There's only 190 people that live there now. It was like 10,000.
Yeah.
5 years ago. They've all either died of cancer or have moved. But it's an amazing town where it literally looks like it's in ruins, but there's 30 or 40 mobile home trailers just kind of sit still that they don't want to move.
It's totally abandoned.
It's abandoned, but it's a backstory that's amazing.
This town is in California, and Erin did a story on it, like she did the town in Woburn.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes, exactly. So, that's what we kind of realized is that you can't miss a day, and that the content, I think, with storage units, and this is my perception, the way you're doing, the direction you're going is great, because I will say this wholeheartedly, doing the TV show for as long as he did, at some point, people get sick and tired of seeing people clean out storage units every day. It will get stale. Trust me, it will. I know this from TV and producing and everything else. The content will get stale.
Brad, I'd like the link for you to check for your trailer tires.
Oh, perfect, Brad. Thank you. Yeah, because this is like racking my brain. It's driving me crazy. I appreciate it. Thank you. But I tell everybody this, Don, is that the content will get stale. Believe me, it will. You think you're doing great for 2 years. You're pulling numbers through the roof. You're making $25,000 a month in ad revenue. But at some point, like the networks or YouTube, for what we're talking about now, they just decide that it's no longer content that really I want to watch. Now I want to move on to the next big thing. And that's just what happens. So if you widen it out and you kind of spread it out towards different avenues, I assure you, you will be the last one standing. That's just my opinion.
I mean, the only thing I really have besides, the auctions and getting my inventory and is just doing a blog of my life. And
that's perfect, though.
Yeah, but Brandon, it's to be honest with you, like, I don't know if people will watch it, because to be honest with you, it's not such a happy life.
See, we're dysfunctional. That's the problem we have. We're not either. I mean, with everything that, I couldn't go into detail on it on here, but believe me when I say this.
It's a happy marriage, and I have.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I have happy children.
Yes.
But there's lots of parts of my life that I talk about once in a while. Like, I was afraid I was going to be like the crybaby. Like recently, my Facebook got hacked, and I've lost so much of my memories that I posted on my sons, and I was crying. It was awful. Like I've lost a huge part of myself, and Junk and Data Girl is trying so hard to help me try to recover it. There's still a chance I can recover it, but other than you guys thought this great idea about going and visiting, and I think people will follow you.
I think so. Yeah,
haunted thing. Like people like that haunt. My husband watches that haunted movie thing.
Yeah.
Every night. What's it called?
Ghost Adventures.
Ghost Adventures. Yeah.
Every night. He loves it. I don't know what he loves about it, but he loves it. He watches it all the time. So that's a nice little thing that you've
Well, from a production standpoint, we always learn that it's not so much the area that you go to; it's the backstory of the area. Once you kind of reveal the backstory, it kind of loops people in to kind of see what's in store for the actual B, as we call B-roll, of it, and it just works really well. And again, I mean, like I said,
everybody, it's James Aaron Smith.
I see that. Hey,
feeling better.
Aaron, everybody missed you. Thank you. Welcome back, sweetheart. My God, I'm glad that you're feeling well enough to be able to come back online. Everybody, I kept asking the other night, where's, I don't know whose chat I was in. I was like, where's Aaron? Where's Aaron? And by the way, everybody, he does like to be called Aaron. That's by his second name. So thank you for joining. Thank you for being here. Yay.
Hey, Aaron. We've missed you.
Well, remember one thing, Donna, is that we all thought nobody ever watched people clean out a storage unit. And look what happened. So I always go like I tell with the vlog thing, and it stings me in one way, but in another way, I will be the first to tell you, I've had a lot of people know on here because I have videos that I've taken down, but I've been through the whole, I've gone to psychiatrists and all that stuff. I am probably the most insane person you ever meet. But great for video on YouTube. Great. Well, that's why it stings when I watch a guy trying to act insane when I really am insane. But it works well.
No, he has like severe anxiety.
But that's all gone now. That's gone. That's
He's a bit bipolar too.
No. That went away. But the crazier you can be and the crazier that, it just works really well. But it's funny because I'm sure you've seen it too, is I've seen other channels where they kind of do, and I'm not going to mention the channel, but I've seen them kind of go off the beaten track and kind of act a little wacko, but you can see right through it. You're like, this is not really this person. I'm seeing right through this only because I did TV and I know what's real and what's not. But with us, what you see is what you get. There's no fake in there. I'm just,
Yeah,
the way to maintain somewhat of a fun lifestyle.
I got a really good review. Like I did a video last week with Dolores and I. Dolores is one of my good friends and helps me. And I at the end of the video, I was like, all right, you guys, thanks for watching. So goodbye. And we'll see you again. And please subscribe, blah, blah, blah. And then it went right into Dolores and I sitting at a coffee shop having a cup of coffee because we decided to stop at this Cuban shop and have a cup of coffee. And I got so many people that were like, Donna, you should do more content of just
precisely
natural Donna, everyday life of just
Right.
natural Donna, the behind the scenes natural Donna. So
you'd be surprised, Donna. Seriously, I mean, it does work. And I just want to I'm not insane in a crazy way. I don't go on, I'm just not, I just do stupid stuff. My mind doesn't work properly half the time, so, sometimes you have to pay certain bills, whatever, and that sort of thing.
I appreciate the advice. I think I will. I think I'll just do more just I was saying.
And I think what it is that, being on lives and putting your life out there, people become attached to the point where they feel like they know you and they feel like even though you're miles and miles away, they want to interact with you on the daily basis and they want to get to know who you are as a person, and I think
similar
it works
to
well.
the Truman Show, the movie The Truman Show, where people latched onto this random guy just living a normal
and watched his life,
and it just works really well. I mean, it doesn't have to be some fantastic idea to make something work anymore. Vlogs work really well. In fact, they work better than any storage auction channel out there. I can assure you that.
I mean, I totally stumbled onto the storage unit buying stuff. When I opened my YouTube channel, I mean, my friends will tell you, a lot of people even that are in the chat, they'll tell you, I opened the channel up to interview other grieving parents and to be an inspiration to them to say, look, if I can do this, you can do this. This is what I'm doing. I'm selling on eBay. I'm buying storage units. I'm providing for my family. I'm hustling. I'm a hustle mom. That's what my channel was supposed to be about. And then I just kind of stumbled into doing the whole and mostly because I was like, oh, look at all these, people videotaping themselves. I mean, I bought my first storage unit. Denali was an infant. So he's, Massimo's 20. So 19 years ago.
Wait, are you kidding me? You've been doing it that long?
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
wow.
One of the very first, and my people have heard me tell this story again. I'm sorry, you guys, if those of you that are in the chat have heard this before. But one of my first storage units, I had a double stroller. Massimo, my oldest, he was a year and a half old. And then Denali was in the stroller and he was 6 months old. And I was pregnant because I had 4 kids in 5 years. And I was pregnant with number 3. So I'm this pregnant lady with these 2 kids. And it was in the dead of winter. And it was in Gloucester. I think it was in Gloucester.
Oh,
it was cold.
Yeah.
It was cold, man.
Right on the water. Yeah.
It was cold. So I went up there and there was only 2 other people. It was a live auction. There was only 2 other people. And this is my favorite auction story that I have. And the guy opens up the thing and the whole entire thing, it was probably a 10 by 15, maybe 10 by 20, filled with plumbing supplies.
Ooh, okay.
Plumbing supplies. Elbows, tubes.
It's all great.
All plumbing supplies. And so the guy starts off the betting at $100. No one bid on it. $75. Who wants a bunch of plumbing supplies?
Me.
$25. He says, can anybody give me 20? I'm like, the pregnant lady with the 2 kids in the
Oh, geez.
I'll give you $25. So I bought the unit and I immediately called my husband's friend, Tony Lenz. He had just started a plumbing business, right? Freshly married, he had a newborn, just started Lentz Plumbing. I call up Tony Lentz. I'm like, Tony, Nutella. Hi, honey. I'm like, I have a prize for you. He's like, yo, what do you got, sweetheart? I said, I have an address and I have a number. I said, you got to come up here and see. I bought you something. I'm not going to tell you what it is. You got to come up and see.
Huh.
Oh, you got to tell me what it is. No, you got to come. I just gave it to him. I gave
Really?
him a storage unit. And for years, he was like, I haven't needed to buy an elbow. Plumbing elbow. It was like a big time score. I mean, to be able to score that for a brand new business, like he never ever forgot that. Like that gave him such a boost to be a successful plumber.
No,
Thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of plumbing supplies.
Boston was good to us. I mean, the first bin I ever bought was we were actually not even married at this point. First bin I ever bought, we went out to the storage auctions decades ago, And I don't know if you ever remember Whalen Park.
Whalen Park?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
I see all these things tarped up. They're pinball machines, arcade games, everything, claw machines, old ones though. And I'm thinking, I got $800 to my name, $800. I can't pay the rent. I can't pay the rent. I'm living with her. What do? I see. You know what? It goes for $750. I get $800. Here's the problem: it's $100 cleaning deposit. I make a call. I call my buddy up and said, I need $50 right now. My friends were all broke. I'm a young kid. They're all broke. One of them borrows off his mother. He comes down with like $100 and he says, here, is that going to do? I said, yeah. Within the first hour, we had sold one of the pinball machines to a collector for like $300, $400. He looks over to the right. He goes, what do you want for those other ones? I go, I don't know. He goes, I'll give you $3,000. I said, just for those 2? He says, yeah. Well, that set us straight at that point. So we ended up making like $20,000 off the bin. I had these claw machines in my father's upstairs apartment for like 2 weeks. Somehow lugged them up the stairs. He lived over in Wellesley in like an apartment complex there. We're trying to make sure they work and everything, and I got pinball machines up there in his bedroom. I'll never forget.
So much stuff.
I bet you wish you had those pinball machines.
Yes, I do. One of them was a KISS machine.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it was a KISS pinball machine worth tens of thousands now. But
oh my God, what a score.
Man, back in Boston, you could get bins like that. I was just, I'll never forget that. It must have been, I always say this, it must have been an angel looking over my shoulder because I don't know, that $800 wouldn't have paid my rent. I had no other way to pay my bills. I couldn't even get food that day, So, that was.
And you were young doing this. Like what?
I was too,
Yeah, we started really young.
You got to remember, I was picking the dumps. I always say picking the dumps. I was picking the Wellesley dump at 13 years old, just hustling money. My father had no money coming in. He was a disabled vet. They weren't giving out money back then. He would get 10% disabled veteran income.
Right.
And so he was getting like $500 a month. So that's all we had really to live off of. So I'd go and pick the dump and hustle metal up. So, aluminum, copper, scrap, anything I could. I'd make $40, $50 a day. And like I say, always something comes along and we're up at the dump one day and this guy goes, you guys want a Lionel train set? I said, sure. He gives me these boxes. I said, I don't know. What do you think they're worth? And I'm 13, 14 years old. This guy comes out and goes, I give you 25 for the whole lot. I go, no. We're not going 25. He goes, I can't go $3,000. I go, to 2,500. I talked to my father. I think 27 would be good. I think 20. He goes, would you do 26? I go, 26 is doable. That's doable. Yeah, we'll do 26. And I got it all for free, So that's been my life, just hustling up stuff. And I learned antiques really well at an early age. And, and that's what I've been doing since 13.
My dad used to like to take us kids when we were little. We would go sometimes on Sunday mornings. We go to the Revere Flea Market.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Way back then. Way.
You know what I miss? Like
Brimfield.
Brimfield is awesome.
Yeah. Talk about making money.
Awesome.
Make money out there.
God.
And you know where else I used to like to go? I used to like to go to Building 19 and a half.
Yes.
I used to like.
I
used to like Building 19 and a quarter.
We had a quarter, right?
Building 19 and a half. And the owner of Building 19 and a half, his name is Oily, Ollies, something like that.
Yeah.
And he just opened up stores down here in Florida, but it's not like Building 19 and a half For those of you that don't know what building,
Yeah, they're all closed now.
Scores Galore says building 19 closed. Yeah, he changed his whole business model. He's open down here in Florida now, but building 19 and a half or 3/4, I guess, where you guys were. So the guy would
Can I pause for a second? Is there something going on with the chat where everybody's getting deleted? Or
Sandy was hidden by Willow Owl. Why was Sandy hidden by Willow Owl?
everybody's been getting hidden. So I don't know
Sandy
why.
was hidden by Sherry Mossman. Message deleted by Sherry Mossman. Let me look at it. Never let tragedy define who you are is what Sandy wrote. Why was that hidden?
I don't know. And then Sherry Mossman got hidden or deleted or something. And it's been going on for quite some time now.
Okay, so Sandy wrote Laurie and Brandon. She wrote hugs and someone deleted that message. Then Sandy wrote and Donna 2 hugs and someone deleted that message. What's going on?
Like Lori.
Who's deleting? It's fixed, guys. It was an error. Okay, it was an error.
Okay, good.
It was an error. It was an error. We're all good. Okay, so building 19. So the guy that owned building 19 and all their afters, he would buy surplus stuff. Like if a store went on fire, and the insurance company would just, they wouldn't come in and just say, oh, just that part of the store is a loss, like this part of the store is okay. They would loss the whole store, and the guy
Right.
on building 19, he would come in and he would buy the whole store. So you never knew what you got when you went to building 19. It could have been food, clothes, carpeting,
Right.
furniture. Like it could have been from a water accident, and some of it would have been waterlogged. So you'd go in there, and sometimes you'd smell like smoke because
Yes.
it came
Yeah.
out of fire.
Yeah.
And he would also buy like shelf pulls, like brand new
Yeah.
stuff that stores would pull out of shelves. But it was an awesome store, and it was so wicked messy.
Oh,
Yeah.
It was always so messy. We had one right in Natick. Like literally I could walk to it. And it was just, I loved going there, but it was always just such a mess. It was crazy.
Did you ever get the cheapo wine, Donna?
No,
I know we never did
I'm
either.
not a wine drinker, so I wouldn't even.
Well, no, but what they used to do is if you could beat his advertised price, they give you a bottle of cheapo wine.
Yeah.
And then they always give you a free cup of coffee when you went in there.
Yes,
Walked in.
yes.
And right as you walked in, you had kind of like the fruits and the peanuts and all that little kiosk there as you walk in. But yeah, that was we ended up there 3 times a week, three times.
I used to love, when I was little, my dad used to take me all the time to Spags. Do you remember Spags?
I don't remember Spag.
I remember Spags, but I think for us it was more of a she hates the place. I know you remember it too. Damula's Market Basket.
Oh, Jamula's, yeah.
She hates that place.
I
Yeah,
hated
Jamula's
Market
is
Basket.
dirty. Jamula's is dirty.
It was.
It was just ridiculous. It was just,
She's more of a Stop and Shop girl.
oh, I'm so a Stop and Shop girl.
Yeah,
Or Roach Brothers.
Jamula's
I could
is
take Roach
dirty.
Brothers or I could take Stop and Shop, but
Let me tell you why I hated
cannot
Roach
do-
Brothers, Donnie. I worked at Roach Brothers as a kid, right? I'll never forget this. People would tip me, and they Roach Brothers didn't believe in tips. You carry the groceries out. So I ended up getting like tips galore, and the guy said, "We've been watching. You got tips?" I said, "Oh yes." So they tipped me $1 here, $2 there. It was right before Christmas. We gotta let you go. I go, "Let me go." He says, "Yeah, you can't take tips." Well, their whole philosophy was that you carry everybody out, but if they give you a tip, you have to refuse it. No, I cannot take that. But some people were kind of like, no, take it. Well,
Yeah.
they told me to take the tips, and I got fired. But yeah, Roach Brothers, that's my big curse against Roach Brothers. The way they run that whole place is they just, if somebody wants to give you a tip during the holidays, you'll get fired for accepting tips, and I did. I was like 15 years old at the time.
What was the name of the warehouse place? I think it was in Revere. It was like before Costco, before Sam's Club. It was like a big warehouse place. Do you remember? Ricky, do you remember what that was?
What?
BJ's?
BJ's.
Was it BJ's?
Yeah,
No,
BJ's.
that was in Malden. What was the name of the big warehouse place? It was like Revere or something where you could buy things in bulk. It was like one of the first warehouse stores.
Oh, jeez.
I can't remember. Ricky, what's the name of the tire company that you used to buy the tires for the truck? Do you remember?
Where?
No, here that you just bought the tires for the truck.
See, she remembers Spags. Scores galore. They remember Spags for me. It was this place.
She shops on Market Basket all the time. All right.
Oh, I can't do Market Basket.
No,
Jeez.
you bought the tires for the old Denali, and they came by Federal Express with the label on them. Oh, F250, the F250 tires. Do you remember the name of the tire company? No, he doesn't remember. They were He's like, no.
But yeah, our go-to is Leechmere's, Zares, all
Bradley's.
those, Bradley's. Yeah.
Sparks.
Yeah. They're all gone now, but I used to, because I lived in Dedham for a while. You know where Dedham is, right?
I do. My sister lives in Stoughton.
Oh yeah, right next door.
Oh,
Right next door.
yeah.
Yeah, right next door.
I have great
Yeah,
friends that live in
right
Stoughton.
on. There's a big lake in Stoughton. Do
Yep.
you know which one it is?
Oh yeah, I know Stoughton very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tell everybody just don't drive through Stoughton after 11 p.m. Yeah. Like we get pulled over, I don't care, but you will, trust me. It doesn't matter now. Most of my friends are detectives and cops. We could go through there and just nothing would ever happen. But it's one of those small towns.
Stoughton police is so crooked.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'll leave it at
It's so
that.
crooked.
I'll leave it at that. Yes. Hopefully never watching, but Stoughton was one of those towns that I tried to stay away from. Dedham wasn't much different though. I live right next to the fire station over on Buzzy Street. Small town, but it was still nice, but it's just one of those towns that I don't miss.
It's like the Jupiter police down here is so crooked.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, I lived in Waltham too. Waltham wasn't much better either. So
I struggle with the Jupiter police down here because they're the ones that kind of tried to expose Kraft when he was going to that massage parlor.
Yes.
So Jupiter is like literally 2 miles from my house. It's like
Really?
one town over. Yeah.
Wow.
And then Jupiter police is also the police that they made a big deal and they busted Tiger Woods because he was taking.
Oh yeah. Okay. So it's kind of like the wealthy of Mass.
Here's the thing. I mean, and I'm sorry if anybody has lost a child to anyone who's been, or a loved one anyone who's been impaired in driving. But here's my thing with the whole Tiger Woods thing. I know he could have killed someone. I know he was on too much medication. It was medication. It wasn't booze. He was on too much medication, and that's why he was swerving. It
Right.
was a combination of medications that his doctors gave him.
Yep.
He had prescriptions for them. It wasn't like he was buying medication and taking it illegally. And the Jupiter police pulled him over because he was swerving. He didn't kill anybody. He's a huge celebrity. He does a tremendous amount of charity work.
Yep.
Right.
In our community. He's like an asset to our community.
Yep.
Take him home.
Absolutely. Yep.
Take him home.
Absolutely.
Take the man home.
Mm-hmm.
You got to arrest him and put his mugshot for the whole country to see. This man who's done nothing but good for our community. Like, to me, if he had killed someone, I mean, devastation.
Right.
It would have been different, but he didn't kill anybody.
Yeah.
Like, just take him home. Jupiter police is known for like treating situations like that. Like with the Bob Kraft thing. And what happened to the Bob Kraft thing? Like,
Which went away. Just went away.
Just went away.
Yep.
Disappeared.
Yep.
It disappeared. It just went away. The last I heard, they illegally obtained footage of him coming and going from the massage parlor without proper, I don't know, and I guess the judge dismissed it out of court. The police was wrong. They should have done it.
Okay. But
All that mess, trying to disgrace him,
exactly.
trying to disgrace all those women. And then what really bothered me is they brought in the fact that it was they used the word pedophiles, where it turned out like all of those women that were working there, they were working there because they wanted to work there, because they were earning good money, and they were choosing to be prostitutes, basically, is all I can say.
Right.
Isn't prostitution legal in Vegas? Where is it legal?
In Pahrump.
In Pahrump it is.
Yeah, it's in Clark County where we're at. It's probably more illegal than anywhere in the country. But if you go 35 miles out, it's legal there.
It is, right? I know that there's different parts of the country where prostitution is legal.
I mean, there's a lot of weird things that are illegal here. Like I could legitimately walk out my door with a. I don't drink liquor or anything, but if I were to walk out with a bottle of I don't know, whiskey, they couldn't do anything. If I walked out with a can of beer, you can just walk down the road with a can of beer. It's very strange laws what they allow and what they don't. The pastor in the cars here can have a beer in his lap as long as I'm not driving. It's just weird things, weird things that they allow. But if you get caught with a prostitute, it's 5 years in jail in Clark County. 35 miles out, completely legal.
Yeah.
Completely legal.
35 miles out, it's completely
35.
legal.
Completely legal.
What about pot? What about marijuana?
Totally legal.
Oh, that's legal.
There's
yeah, there's a dispensary on every corner
out here. Yeah.
And people can just smoke it.
And they do. And they do. We were at a casino the other day, and I can't be around it too much, the smell. And literally, it was fumigating me right in the parking garage, into the casino almost.
Can you spell that for me, Brandon? What? Robin wants to know if you could spell that. What did he say to spell?
It's probably my accent, right?
Yeah, I was standing in line somewhere. I was with my daughter. And I was like, I smell weed.
Right.
Somebody was like in a store. Like,
you smell it. You can't go like anywhere without smelling it here.
Yeah, it's everywhere. Everywhere.
So you can smoke it in a store, but you can't smoke a cigarette in a store, but they're allowing you to.
Right.
Because they're using like the vape pens.
Yeah.
And that's allowed. I wonder if they allow that on airplanes too.
No.
You can't vape pen on an airplane?
No,
I going to Hawaii, I learned the hard way on that one, but no, you cannot. No, you cannot. No.
Can't do that.
Can't do that. No. That'll get you in a lot of trouble. But out here, the problem is everywhere I could walk down the end of my street, it's just that it just overwhelms you.
Yeah, everywhere you go. Grocery store, casino, gas station.
Everywhere. I'm very sensitive to it. So like inhaling that, I don't know. I have reactions to it. I just, common courtesy would be.
Said the town that's the oldest profession is legal, asking for a friend.
Oh, that would be Pahrump.
Pahrump.
Pahrump. Yeah.
Friend. When she writes that, she's getting ready. She's like the lookup ninja. She does so much research.
Well, that's also where a lot of people get the illegal fireworks is in the same town where prostitution is legal. And the minute you bring them back over the line, it's a 10-year sentence as explosives. But it's legal in that town. That's
so crazy. Like, what's up with that town? Is it like a reservation town or something?
You ever seen the movie Hills Have Eyes? It's similar to that.
No, it's not. It's not.
No,
that
I'm
bad.
joking.
The crazy thing is so he was like,
that song, actually.
He was like, oh, let's look at Pahrump. It's quieter. You get more space. You get more land. Let's do that. And then I'm looking up online, and the very first article that I see online for the town of Pahrump is that there's arsenic in the water. And I'm like, are you serious? You serious right now? Like, I'm not moving to Pahrump. He's like, we'll drink bottled water.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but he wanted more land. But
yeah.
So is your land your 5 acres? Is that where your house is, or is the 5 acres somewhere else?
California.
It's in California.
Yeah.
Can you bring all the stuff to California but you live in Vegas?
Well, no, everything that we buy in California stays in California because we buy in both.
Yes.
And then everything we buy in Vegas, we have units here for that. Yeah.
Good operation.
So no matter where we go, so here's the thing. So a lot of our local buying is done here in Vegas, or our local selling is done here in Vegas. In California, most of it, so we'll either go through what we have already stored down in California, or we'll bring another truckload down to California and sell at the swap meet. So the swap meet we only do in California, not Vegas.
Yeah.
I'm laughing at Robin. She says, I thought everything stays in Vegas. Now I'm confused.
Robin, you need to keep up with the times. They've actually changed that logo.
Bourbon
Did
Street
they?
right now. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not Vegas doesn't want to be associated with that slogan anymore. So what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas is no longer Vegas's slogan.
Really?
Yeah, they've changed it.
It's Donna's slogan. They say it on everything
No,
that happens on Donna's channel stays on Donna's channel.
It's
Right?
a huge operation. Like we have the warehouses up here and we have them down there, but it's about a 250-mile drive. I have no idea how to run it at all. Believe me, I just know how to, But somehow or another, it just the stuff manages there, it gets put in its place, and then we go from there. But it's a lot of work because the drive alone kills you. 250 miles, twice, 3 times a week. It's a tough drive.
Easy.
Yeah, then 500 miles round trip. So there's it's a bit unorthodox, to say the least.
Yeah.
So, and there's really no workaround. So
Brandon, do you have a partner besides Larry, or do
never. I do
No.
it all myself.
It's just us.
No, I've worked on when I was had the landscape company back east. I would do 40 lawns a day, and I just worked my whole life. I just worked out and just I just never wanted to stop working because the minute you stop working, the blood slows down and you
get old.
You get old. I don't get aches and pains ever. I don't ever get sick. Knock on wood. I don't. I feel like I'm 20 most of the time.
I wish I did.
How old are you? How old are you, Brandon?
I'll be 34.
Such a liar. He's such a liar.
I'll tell you how old I am if you tell me how old you are.
Here's the thing. I'm like a woman when it comes to this. I never disclose my age ever.
You don't?
Never, ever. No, never.
You don't.
I'm 44.
Well,
I'm 55.
are you really? Wow. No,
Amazing.
it's like I met a friend the other day. I thought he was 30, ends up being 42. But this guy we hang out with. But no, and I'll tell you why. Because I looked at age as just a number. I do more things, and I'm sure you do too. I do more things than 99% of the people that are half my age. I don't know if that's due, just because the upbringing or whatever. But
I do too.
I just work. I see you work.
I think it's the Boston mentality. I really do like the
I see you work on your channel nonstop. You're going through the bin. I'm going. I don't see anybody your age doing that. I don't see anybody doing half your age really doing that. To be honest with you,
and you don't know the half of it. Like I really like. I'm gonna start blogging. I opened up a new channel, but I think I'm just gonna leave that channel alone and just continue the blog. What's it called? Vlogging.
Vlogging. Yeah.
I'm just gonna vlog on this channel and just keep concentrating on growing this channel because you don't know the half of it. I know, honestly, at 55 years old, but I'm tired, you guys. I'm tired. I can't say I don't get sick. I do get sick.
I'm exhausted. I tell him all the time.
I feel like I'm just waking up. I really do.
I tell him all the time, I had when my daughter was 8 months old, I hurt my back. So I've already had back surgery once, and I'm, pretty much ready for it again. I have degenerative disc disease and arthritis down my spine, spinal stenosis, and my discs are just falling apart. So this work is absolutely killing me. So, I mean, literally there's mornings I wake up and I have fibromyalgia as well. So I literally wake up in tears and I'm like, I cannot do this another day. And then you just got to do what you got to do and get up.
It's so much work. It's so much work. It's like, you tell people it's like moving every couple of days.
Here's what I tell people about our job. I said, literally what we do, because we buy so much, we literally buy a lot. And I said, what we do is moving a 4-bedroom house every day.
And that's what burns me, Donna. That's what burns me the most is that or same thing we do. We don't ever hire anybody to do this. We did the slot machines the other day. We did this all by hand, just ourselves. They were 350, 400 pounds loading them on a trailer. Yet I watch other things out there where they have a crew of people and this and that. They're half my age. Well,
I'm lucky. I have my son and his friends.
We do have that. We have that pleasure too sometimes. Yes. We
I have my son and his friends, and then I have my husband when he's not working his real job.
Right.
He comes with the big truck and the big trailer for my big units.
Yeah.
I'm really lucky that I have my son and my friends, but I've got to learn, and I was talking about this last night too, I've got to learn to embrace the moment with my son and his friends. Like I bought a storage unit recently and we bought two. I bought two in the same facility, and one of them was filled with toys and it had a whole bunch of bicycles, and it was my son and 3 of his friends. And, I hired them for the afternoon to come and help me. And I give them like $50,
Not bad at all.
3 hours worth of work, 4 hours.
Right.
All they're doing is loading up the dump trailer or loading up the truck. And They're riding around the facility in these little Snow White pink bicycles.
Oh, you should have recorded that. You should have recorded that for history.
I'm a crazy lady yelling at them. You guys are supposed to be helping. Like, I'm Italian. I'm from Boston. I'm Sicilian and from Boston. So I've got it all going on.
Right.
And and after, I have to like embrace those moments more, because then like after it happened, I would have thought, I thought that would have made for such a great video.
Absolutely.
It would have been great.
But at the moment, I was so pissed off, because I'm like, we need to load this stuff up and get going. You guys need to stop. And they're crashing into the walls. And I'm like, you're going to dent the walls. They're going to charge you.
It's funny, if you go back, one of our videos, our son came to help us, right? And now this is the one that I told you he's basically been raising since he was a year. So my son is on the autism spectrum. He has Asperger's and he's very high functioning. But, he's still kind of a kid up in heart and up here, So he's supposed to be working and loading stuff. And then he decides to take the, what do you call the moving skates?
The
dollies, the dollies. Furniture dolly.
Oh, yeah.
He's riding it like a skateboard. He's bouncing off the walls and the thing. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to record him because it's funny. It's funny to me. And I'm like, if I don't take a breather and just relax and watch him have a blast, then oh well,
I need to embrace more of that. I get stressed out. I don't do it. I need to embrace more of that for sure. Because I do. Like, to me, it's like, work. But I'm like you. I have my L4 and my L3 are bulging in my back, and I have a sciatic leg. My left leg is a sciatic leg, and
mine too. Yeah,
I've had what's called ablations done. Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've had like 6 ablations done over the course of a year and a half. Like, they would do them every 2 months on my back. They'd burn away the nerves that connect my hip bone to my backbone, in hopes that they could get rid of. I guess you're born with hundreds and hundreds of nerves that are in your body. So they would go in and fry away the nerves that they know I don't need, and hopes that those were the ones that were causing my sciatic leg.
Right.
Mary, I'll be sound asleep, not even moving, like sound asleep, and my sciatic leg will wake me up.
Oh, yeah. I tell him that all the time.
Out of a sound sleep that I haven't even budged my body. And I can't stand up. I can't sit down.
Wow.
I can't do anything. Like, I can't do anything.
Yeah. And it's funny because after my daughter was born,
Doesn't sound very funny.
I said, I'm going to take a little time off. I'm going to take a little time off, and I'm going to just be with her. This is our youngest. And 8 months later, I literally woke up and I couldn't walk.
Yeah.
So I was basically paralyzed from the waist down, because L3 to L4, L4 to L5, and L5 to S1 were all pinching the nerve to my spinal cord, not allowing my legs to move.
I know
it was the most painful thing I've ever experienced. I told him all the time, I said, I would have 15 children in a row with no pain medication.
Yeah.
To not ever feel that again.
I know.
Ever.
Back pain is the absolute worst.
Yeah.
And I have to be so careful with doing this business, because I think I'm 55 years old and I still feel like I'm in my 30s or 25 or 30.
Yeah. Yes.
I know a lot of my back problems came from when I worked at Winston Flowers, when I managed their back bay store on Boylston Street. We had guys that did the work, but I was the manager, and I am one of these managers that I'll never tell you to do something if I don't do it myself also. Like, even though I had the guys working in the back room, when the trucks pulled in to unload the boxes, and the boxes would come, these long boxes stacked with roses and flowers, carnations.
My daughter's a florist right now, so
the long skinny boxes I'm talking about?
I do. Yep.
and so the truck would pull up in the back, and I had 3 guys that worked in the back room, and like I managed. It was a big store, and I'd go into when the truck arrived with the flowers. I'd go into the back room, and I would have them stack 2 of those boxes on my shoulder. I was in my 20s, and lug them into the back room, and stack them up and help the men help the boys unload the truck.
Right.
That wasn't my job.
Right.
It wasn't my job, but I also wanted to show my staff that I'm not
You're
going to.
willing to work and do the job that it takes.
I would go clean the bathroom, and I would put my name on the sheet in the bathroom that I cleaned the bathroom. Like I showed my staff I do it too. Even though I'm your manager,
Yeah.
I don't just delegate out the work. I do it too. So carrying those boxes, I think, really damaged my back a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The lifting and the movement.
And I think it's hard because in the business we're in right now, when we were originally doing this, I was the only woman at the auction. I mean, back then there weren't a lot doing this business. It was primarily a man's industry.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like at that time I had to kind of prove something too. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to lift just as much as you can, and I'm going to do what you can. And sometimes you overdo it, and unfortunately, by the time, 2000 came around, I was pretty much done for it. But,
I think a lot of it's genetic too, though. I really do. I think a lot of it is genetic. I've just been very lucky. I mean, just very lucky. Doesn't mean 5 years from now I won't be a physical mess. But for right now, if I get an ache and pain, I'm dying. It goes away 5 minutes later, but because I don't get it, so I've been very lucky. But genetically, I think my whole family's, they've been bodybuilders. They've been, they've worked masons. I was a brick mason for a while. I mean, that type of stuff will kind of harden you. And I just kind of weathered the storm really well in that respect physically. But I can tell her all the time, it teases me off because we're talking about how we're doing all this work. And then I watched, these other ones out there. Well, I'm going to have my crew get this bin cleaned out. I'm going, hey, that's not me this time.
Let me go investigate.
Okay, let's not burn Donna's house down while we're on a live.
I got till 5:30 for Nellis.
Okay. Oh, we won one?
Yeah.
Oh, yay.
My husband's cooking something.
Oh, that sounds good. I haven't eaten yet today. It's 3:00.
Oh, I'm probably gonna let you go eat. This has been so much fun.
It has been.
Yeah, it was so nice to get to know you. Hey, Melissa W's in the house. Hi, sweetheart.
Hi, Melissa. I didn't even see her.
Thanks for being
there she
here. Yeah, you know what, Laurie, let's do this again because it sounds like we have a lot to share and a lot to talk about. And
let's definitely do this again.
There's my girl. Auctions for you. I can stop lurking now. Nothing bad was said about me. Shoot. Yeah, you know what, Laurie? If you ever want to have auctions for you on, just for different flavor on your auctions, that's my girl T. She does it out of Long Island. So
very nice.
Yeah, we have a good time together. We really have a good time together.
Just never thought I'd see Boston like New York, but that's all right. That's all right.
He said, I just never thought I'd see Boston like New York, but that's okay.
Right? I'm always talking bad about.
Right.
I'm always talking about New York and Long Island. That's where she's from. So many of my neighbors are from Long Island. But sometimes it's fun to do like the round robin. Like she does the round robin on her channel. I mean, you guys get way, way more subscribers. And she usually pulls in about 80 or 90 people in her auction. I hit my all-time high the other night. I had 129.
It's really good. Yeah,
that's
actually,
awesome.
You know why I know that? Because I screwed up. I put our thing on because I didn't check your channel first. And I said, Donna's got 129 people on. It was like 129.
No, we had gone on.
I basically overwent my time. And
we went over a little bit, but I was like, you need to hurry up. Like, we got to get off. Donna's going live.
I try to be courteous.
We try to be courteous and not like.
Don't be.
No.
No, Brandon. No, listen. I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Like I would never go on when T goes on because her and I we're not partners, but
Yeah.
we're like partners. Like
Yeah.
she has people on. Like I'm not going to go and do a live, but I tell people all the time, Brandon, and I mean this, Laurie. I mean it to you too. Don't ever feel like if you're on a live that you need to get off because I'm going live, or if I'm on a live, I don't want the pressure of going off because you guys are going on. People, I said this to you before, people, Brandon, they will stream both auctions. They will
Okay.
jump around.
They'll be on
They'll
their
go
phone,
to
they'll
your
be on their
auction, they'll come to my
Really?
auction.
Okay.
They will. Like
Okay.
you may not have little girl bows.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
It's weird to me sense. Okay, T, I have to tell you something. And this is a confession right now that's probably never been heard out of my mouth.
oh, and she's been really truthful. She's been really truthful this interview.
We
Okay.
like the Yankees.
I actually like the Yankees.
Oh, there you go. I don't think she likes them.
What are you gonna do,
She
Donna?
said she did. She says she's a diehard Yankee fan.
You got to look at it this way. How smart can the Red Sox be? You give up Mookie Betts and David Price, and then you come back and you get suckered into paying $96 million of that salary to the Dodgers. Jeez.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, but here's the thing. Like, I honestly, I know there's still a bit of a rivalry, but I feel like it's a bit different now that each team can kind of respect the talent of the other team. And I feel like that.
I didn't say I respected them. I just say they look good.
No, I do. There's lots of players like
No.
Judge. I mean, man, God, like how can you not love Aaron Judge? He's amazing. And I'm not gonna hate him for his talent just because he's a Yankee. So there's a lot of players on the Yankees and the team I actually respect and I like them. So I love my Red Sox. They'll always be my number one, always. But
I don't
do.
follow sports. I could care less. I don't follow sports. I don't watch sports. I don't follow sports.
Oh, I don't miss sports. I literally, we watch everything, whether it's baseball, football, I'm there. Hockey.
It's called living in Vegas, being able to bet on them. That's what
Not
it
just
is.
that.
That's what it is.
Well, okay, it's that for basketball. Because I'm not like huge on watching basketball outside of, whatever. But for baseball and football, I will not miss a game. I won't miss a game.
And I won't spoil this for you, but if you happen to get a chance, I didn't think it was that good. That movie called Uncut Gems with Sandler, takes place back in Boston.
Yeah.
It's just a waste of time. Waste of time.
Is it a movie?
Yeah, it's a new movie that came out. It's all revolves around Boston and the sports betting and all that back there, and kind of the how they
underground sort of.
They hype up the Irish mafia, which really
the accents are horrible.
Yeah, I just can't take it anymore. These movies.
Yeah. I don't even watch movies. You know what, Brandon, Laurie? I swear to you, like the only thing I watch is YouTube.
Exactly. I don't blame you.
We're pretty much the same way.
I haven't
really
watched
are.
movie in ages.
Sports and YouTube, that's our life.
Yeah.
And Susan just gave me $1.99 super chat. Thank you, Susan. And she says, "Love you, Donatella. Thank you, Laurie and Brandon.
Thank you,
for the
Susan.
super chat, Susan. You're very sweet. Thank you, sweetheart."
Danny May, I will definitely reach out to him and let him know that you want to message him.
Yeah, but I could tell her I'm done. I'm over the whole fake accent thing. Most of my buddies that I grew up with back there 30, 35 years, nobody talks like that. I mean, there's an accent, but it's not like that. It's not what
an accent. You have more of an accent than Laurie does.
Let me tell you why.
Well,
okay. He does.
Yeah.
He does.
He does.
So with me, I started working
Capital One.
At Capital One Healthcare Finance. Okay. So we did like fertility financing. We did dental, things like that.
She may not like the story.
So when I started working for them, they basically told us that
Backy's people were ignorant. That's what they said.
They basically said that on the phone, people can't understand somebody with a back east accent.
Yeah, and we sounded
ignorant.
Yeah.
So we had to actually learn how to speak differently on the phone to our customers because we had multi-million-dollar contracts and we had to sound professional. And they said with an accent like I had, I didn't.
That's very interesting. And I have to tell you, I was born in
Let me clarify that for her. Everything in this country started in Boston, so as far as I'm concerned, everybody else has the accent.
That's I love it. Truth could not have been spoken better. I love it.
I tell her all the time, Donna, we do things. When I was a brick mason for a long time. We do things differently back there.
A brick mason?
I was a brick mason. Yeah, I used to build chimneys.
My husband's father was in the union, the Brick Masons Union in Boston for
Really?
years.
Well, we did things a little unorthodox. I had my own company, and what we used to do? A lot of times we did things in what we call 3 payments. You pay the first and the second, the third payment's when it's completed. What we would do is we take a pane of glass, because I know a lot of times the guy would make that last third payment. I take a pane of glass on the third final course of that chimney. I put the glass there, and if he didn't pay me, you know what happens? Soot fills that whole house. If he does pay me, I just put a rock in that glass and drop it down and break it and sweep it up. That's how he did things back there. I swear to you. I swear to you.
And here's the thing, right? So I have a really, really bad accent on certain words. Yes. And if I'm really mad, like my kids instantly know I'm mad because my accent comes out so strong. Or if I'm talking to my mom. If I'm talking to my mom, then I'm like instantly like, oh, here I am. I'm back,
Yeah, my Florida friends will say to me, you were talking to one of your Boston friends today, weren't you? Because when I talk to my Boston friends, my accent comes out really, really, like my kids will make fun of me because I'm raising my kids in Florida. So they don't have Boston accents like I do. So they make fun of my accent. Like, for example, like I'll say Camilla and my daughter will be like, Mom, spell that. Like, how do you spell that word, Camilla?
Right.
Like that's
and it's funny because for some reason, and I don't know why, but I'll be like, oh, I have an idea. And they're like, my kids look at me like, you have a what? You have a what? And I'm like, okay.
How do you say it?
Idea. I have an idea.
Idea.
Idea. I have an idea.
Well, how do you supposed to say it?
I don't know.
That's how you're supposed to say it.
I have an idea. I have an idea.
Idea.
I don't know. Apparently I spell it wrong. I have an idea.
So Robin says, go and watch the video of Donna with the chicken on her head. She has this heavy accent in that one. I have to tell you about accents. So I was born in Sicily. Which is just off. It's an island right off the coast of Italy. And Sicilians speak Sicilian. And Sicilian is a very, very strong dialect, completely different than Italian. My mother was Sicilian. My father was Italian. And when they got married, hold on. Ricky, can you please not do that while I'm having a live? Thank you. When they got married, my father said, we're going to raise the children to speak Italian. So I understand Sicilian. Arlington, Massachusetts is calling me.
I
have no idea. I've been getting a lot of
scam calls.
Yeah. My phone's rang like 6 times since we've been on live, all scam calls. So anyway, so my parents raised us to speak Italian, not Sicilian. But Sicilian, excuse me, now has come back strong. It's an art. People that know how to speak Sicilian, like the younger generation, they want to learn how to speak Sicilian. They like that accent. And I kind of think that that's what's going on with Boston too. But they're adding such a huge twang to it.
Oh yeah.
You said about the movie that you just watched, like it sounds almost fake, like the accent that they're using.
Yeah,
completely. The authentic Bostonian accent is like what we speak, like
exactly.
Well, I mean, it's
like I mean, who really walks around saying "park the car"? Like it's not like that.
No. I still have friends. That
it's not that strong.
I still have friends that walk around. Hey, what's up, kid? We still say that. But I mean, most time, even living out here, we still talk. I still call jeans dungarees. I mean, it's how I was brought up.
Or I say a water bubbler.
Yeah, water bubbler. Right. Yeah. So we say pop. Stuff like that.
And Jimmy's Ricky's saying. And what about a garbage can? People are like, what's a garbage can? Like,
oh, you know what? Wait, it's so funny.
Shopping carriage, right?
So I'll
I
say,
mean-
okay, my youngest daughter, I'll be like, go get me a carriage. And she's
Right.
like,
a what?
Carriage.
A
and I'm like,
carriage.
what's the problem? She's like, you
What-
mean a cart? Like a
Is that what
shopping
they're
cart?
called?
And I'm
No, is
like,
that what they're called? Seriously, I don't
I
know.
like,
call it a carriage too. I call it
carriage.
Shopping carriage. Yeah.
Yeah.
a carriage.
And, and it's funny, like pocketbook or purse and,
Yeah.
like all those things, and it's kind of crazy that.
But there's one thing we miss more than anything, and that's KM hot dogs.
Cam?
Yeah.
I didn't have those.
Oh, jeez. Oh, no.
Oh, we
It's like a natural. Oh, no, no, let me tell you what I miss
And
genuinely.
Hellman's mayonnaise.
We have Hellman's. It's best foods out here. It's the same thing. Okay. So there was this little Italian restaurant that I used to go to in the town where I grew up. And it was literally delicious. I miss good Italian food. I'm not talking Olive Garden, like the McDonald's of Italian food. I'm talking about like back east, good
Right.
home cooked restaurant Italian foods. Out here in Vegas, you have your choice of everything. There's a bunch of different places. But when you go to an Italian place out here, it is not.
We would do that. We go down to
It
this
is
place
not.
down in Yarmouth, right? And we didn't know this at the time, but we go down there once a week. And it was mafia run. They were running stuff out of the back, but the food was really good.
Oh,
And I remember
yes.
stumbling back to go play Keno. They got the Keno out there. And
Not the Keno.
the hot spot, whatever.
The numbers.
The numbers game. And I walked in the wrong door. And
There's a big group of Italian men sitting around.
I said, I
having a
apologize. I'm just looking
conversation.
for the bathroom. I'll be see you later. They didn't say anything. Everything was fine, but I realized what was going on.
Yeah.
It wasn't uncommon. But they didn't say anything. And we continued to eat there, but it was really good food though. Veal Parmesan, all that chicken Parmesan. Yeah, it was good.
I
So-
love my chicken parm, and I can't get it anywhere good
Meatball
out here.
subs, all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, see, I don't go out to eat Italian because I cook Italian.
Yeah.
But the one thing that you can't get, you can get good pasta down here. They import the pasta. But the one thing that you can't get down here is good bread. And
Oh yeah,
you can't get good pizza.
Oh,
No,
the pizza's horrible
the
out here.
pizza's horrible here.
Horrible. It's garbage.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Garbage. But
Horrible.
you can get good pasta. It's all imported. I was just talking about it yesterday, as a matter of fact. We've got
Yeah.
different stores.
and I'll say here, like even out here, like I don't know, I'll say sauce for everybody on here so that they understand what I'm talking about. Like the spaghetti sauce, like gravy.
Oh, you're not going to call it spaghetti gravy?
But for people on the chat, they won't know what I'm talking about, So I have to say sauce,
Yeah.
So for
But,
the
but when you say, not to interrupt you, I'm sorry, but when you say, okay, so sauce goes on pasta, but you're saying gravy goes on pasta. So what goes on roast beef and mashed potatoes? Sauce or just gravy? And what color is the gravy that goes on mashed potatoes? It's brown. So are you
Brown.
putting brown gravy on your pasta?
Of course not. Of course not.
Doesn't make any sense. They insist on calling it pasta and gravy.
Right.
It's
I've always
gross.
called it marinara, but
He calls it just marinara. That's what he calls it.
Just
With the red sauce. With the red sauce. But you can't get a good sauce out here.
because that's all I do is I cook. I cook everything Italian. I cook pasta. I cook sauce. That's all I do. And I don't know why I do when I'm Irish, but I'm French Canadian. But go figure.
I can teach you how to make a fresh pasta sauce that is absolute like
Really?
red tomatoes that is absolutely delicious.
Well, see, and it's funny because my grandfather, so we used to have, family meal every Sunday, right? And everyone from the family would get together and eat together. And every single time I'd be like, Grandpa, make your sauce, So when he passed, I said to my grandmother, I said, I need Grandpa's sauce. I need the recipe. And she's like, I don't know the recipe. He just,
I don't have recipes either.
Yeah. So I got somewhat, she says, well, these are like kind of the ingredients he used.
Yeah.
So I had it all written down and I literally went through probably like 17 different times. I would make the sauce, add this a little more, add this a little less. And, and I finally one time got it perfected. And I was like, this is my grandfather's sauce. I'm like, this is good. I was like, this is good.
More of the story, I cook though.
No. He likes cooking because he thinks I'm going to poison his food or something. I don't know.
Laurie, that is so funny.
Never that much.
Let's be quiet here.
My husband's a really good cook. My husband's been doing a lot of the cooking lately because I've been so busy with the auctions. You know,
Yeah.
I'm on so often, and then I try to have someone on, like once a week, like last time I had someone on was a couple of weeks ago, Megan. She's like, talk about a super mom. She's got 2 babies and like 4,000 items listed on eBay, and she
Wow.
sources for all her stuff.
No.
She goes to thrift stores and hand picks all her items.
Wow.
You know how time consuming that is.
Oh, yeah.
That's
yeah.
for birds.
And I tell him all the time, I'm like, with everything we're doing, and then we have 3 kids who are all married now, and I got 4 grandbabies, and so I'll be doing something, and like I think they've called me like 17 times while I'm on here just to FaceTime me. Like they call all throughout the day, like FaceTiming and stuff, and like
The kids or the grandkids?
my kids, so that I could talk to my grandkids like every day.
Where do they live?
They're here.
Well, they're like 10 miles away. You think we're like 3,000 miles away, but yeah.
They call me like 17 times a day.
Right.
Like, they just want to say hi. Oh, look, he's eating lunch. Oh, look,
Yeah.
they're doing this, and it's hilarious. So my oldest just wrote me now, and my youngest, her 2 had like the flu, and then they got better. Well, now my oldest called, and my granddaughter from her has the flu. So, ay.
I just got over the flu.
Oh, did you? Oh, I heard it's awful.
I went right away. Like I felt it coming, and my friend Dolores was here, and we were shipping. We had an auction the day before, and I never ever sent her home because she just she helps me so much, so
Right.
much. And even when she's like, I gotta get going, and in 20 minutes, I'm like trying to get like the last few things done before she leaves, because I feel like when she's gone, it's like factory shuts down. So,
Right.
it was probably about 3:30 in the afternoon. I could feel it coming on. I was like, you know what? I said to Dolores, something's not right. Like, I just know my body. I just know.
Right.
I don't take the flu shot. And I've had the flu in my lifetime. I've had it. This was my 3rd time. This is my 3rd time.
Yeah.
So I was going to go take myself, because you have to get there within 24 hours to get the Tamiflu. That's
Yep.
like very, very important. So I was going to take myself to urgent care that night, but I collapsed. As soon as she walked out the door, I said, Dolores, I can't do it anymore. I laid down. I called the doctor the next morning. I called the doctor at 9 o'clock. The doctor said, come right in. I went in, they swabbed my nose. Yep, sure enough, I had the flu. So they gave me the Tamiflu. I swear to you, but it was not a bad strain. Literally within 1 day, I was back to normal.
Wow.
Wow. That's great.
You
That's
don't-
really good.
If you don't take that Tamiflu, you are down.
Oh, yeah.
Like Aaron just got done being sick. I wonder if he had the flu, because he was down for almost 2 weeks.
Right. Yeah.
I wonder, were you ever diagnosed, Aaron? Were you diagnosed with the flu, or did you have a bad cold? What did you have? You have to take the Tamiflu.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is we have friends of ours right now that are still quarantined on a ship,
Yeah.
like a cruise ship.
They get the coronavirus.
There's 61 people on the ship, 61 people on the ship that has been diagnosed with the coronavirus,
Yeah.
and they cannot leave the ship. They're there till the 22nd of February at least.
Wow. Yeah. So Aaron said he had the flu. Aaron, did you go get Tamiflu, or did you just wait for it to ride itself out? See the difference if you get that Tamiflu?
Right.
So they're just bringing food on board, and they're just, what about their jobs or their families or?
Well, the ship actually ran out of water,
Yeah.
and
Where's
they
the
couldn't get any
station?
water to them.
Where's it
So
staying?
what they did instead, they talked to their son, and their son said, well, take the water, use the coffee pot, boil your water, then put it in the bottles and put them in the fridge. So that's what they did. And then finally they got water delivered like 2 days later. But you know, I guess they cannot leave their cabins. They're stuck in that room. They cannot leave the room.
What?
So the staff comes and delivers 3 meals a day to them. And they've provided them free Wi-Fi and whatnot so that they could talk to their family and friends.
I would hope so.
But there's like 3,000 people on this cruise ship that's literally quarantined. They cannot leave.
Where is it stationed?
Right now, I believe it's Okinawa, Japan.
Yeah. This all they got it. They went to Asia, Southeast Asia. That's how they all got it.
And one guy got on the boat with the flu.
With the flu.
One guy.
That's how contagious that stuff is. Yeah, one guy.
And now there's at least 61 people infected.
Yeah. So
are they bringing doctors on board with medicine? Like, what are
they bring people on board, they test them randomly, and then as soon as they have been diagnosed with the coronavirus, they're taking them to the local hospital there in Japan.
Yeah. I'd probably do a pass on that, but you know.
Scary.
Yeah.
Super scary.
Did they have this trip booked before this whole virus thing was exposed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the whole virus thing really comes from them eating bat soup, is what it is.
From eating what?
Bat soup, actual bats. A lot of the Asian culture, they actually eat bat soup.
They've like tracked it down to where it started.
The blood in the bats is what kind of caused this.
Ew.
Oh, yeah. You know, because remember they had the bird flu over there for a while that was kind of contagious, and then now it's gone down to bats, and they call it coronavirus because of the bats. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So what are your friends doing about like their jobs?
Fortunately, they actually run a radio station in the Santa Clarita Valley. So they run that, and they're okay because they trust that their workers are gonna do everything right while they're gone. But I don't know what everybody else is doing as far as people on the ship, because you have a certain amount of time booked off from your job or whatnot, and then you're there until, they've been there for now over a week, and they're not even allowed to get out of their rooms until the 22nd of February.
And that's when they get retested again.
Talk about bats. I'd go batshit crazy.
I would too. Especially it's one thing when you're like in a hotel room, but this is like
it's a very small room.
Cruise cabin ship, it's tiny.
It's legitimately like jail except with Wi-Fi and TV. It's like jail. It really is.
It is that would be like jail to me.
Yeah.
I never go on cruises. I always say that going on a cruise, like I've always said this, to me is like being in jail with the chance of drowning.
Agreed 100%. Agreed.
I've never been on a cruise, so I don't know.
Been on a million of them, and I try to tell her it looks great on TV, but when you get there out in the middle of nowhere in the water, and you got to worry about the buffets, people touching things, and then closed quarters, it's really easy to get sick on those things. It's really easy. It happens all the time.
Yeah, the buffet is just There is a buffet that we go to down here that I really like, and I go because of the sushi. But even that, because the sushi is pretty inexpensive, but even at that, like I get so grossed out. Like I will use a napkin to hold the toppings to pick this. I don't know. I go because it's cheap, but I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan.
Nope, not at all. So I can try to tell her. I've been on enough of them, and I did it. I did Mexico. I've done all those places, Bahamas, and I don't know. It didn't do much for me. Just didn't do much for me. I don't know.
Sandy says, Melissa, red lipstick, which I wear a lot of red lipstick, contains baby placenta. I don't wear lipstick. Ew. I've never heard of that before. I'm sure it's not all red lipstick. Maybe it is. I don't know.
I don't know.
Sandy, I'm sorry. Ew, that's like crazy. That
What's wrong with her?
Okay.
Well, we get going. We gotta go place another locker.
We've been here for 3 hours.
I know.
From 1 hour to
a quick little one.
Quick. That was so quick. I really, really appreciate everyone that came into the chat. And Laurie, go ahead and make a comment so that people can click on the three little dots and join your channel. And
Yep. Just
Laurie,
subscribe to Storage Hunters Vegas. We're always putting up videos. We have lives. We've kind of adopted some of Donatella's little tricks and trades with the auction. So that's been working for us too. And
what nights are you doing your auctions now?
we found that Sundays, like afternoons, work really well for us.
Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, because it's really the only downtime that we have. So we had to fill it with something.
Susan says Donna is notorious for her long goodbyes. I did say goodbye like 30 minutes ago.
I know.
And then we kept on talking. Susan knows me well. So, yeah, Danny Mae, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate you. And Sandy and James, he's so wonderful. He's helped me grow my channel incredibly. He's always dropping links in all the big groups to help me grow my channel. So,
and I know Melissa, she's a mod for our channel as well. So
Melissa,
thank you so much.
Melissa was the first one to come around and help me so much. She's helped me so much. And yeah, so we'll see you out on the auction block.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'll see you on your next auction. So we'll just keep in touch and hopefully do another live with you again really soon.
Bye, you guys in the chat. Thanks for joining us for 3 hours. Bye.
Bye, you guys.